into Raptors, then they'll get some early information on the Sejuani, and tracking will begin. It's pretty effective for Olaf to be able to get a lot of counter jungling early on. You can see the 2 deep wards on the map right now that were placed by Team Liquid. Here.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You missed the CS.
These two on both of those camps, they do get vision on the Sejuani. And Freak, as a marksman player, physically pained every time he sees a missed yes on the bottom side of the map.
It happens sometimes, even to the best of us, such as Double Lift, so it's okay. Makes me feel better about myself. And you can watch him do that in first person with ProView.
Nice setup, bud.
Yeah, thanks, bud. I'm all about this. So, mid lane pushed in by Bjergsen. Wants to make sure he's not going to get beset by Olaf. That's not going to happen just yet. Smithy has 12 health and even less mana. As the ward comes down and says, okay, Chicken's already gone. And he's not going to walk by it, actually. It's going to be 3 camps into a quick recall here for Smithy.
All right, let's see what he goes with here on the first recall, because you can go move speed, and he is. He's going to go with the boots plus the control ward here for the vision play on the top half of the map.
And he has water walking plus nullifying orb, so he's going to be really quick actually going kind of between those lanes and in the river there. So that could be pretty powerful for him as well. We'll see as he comes up to the top side, and he's only barely a camp behind, but with the refreshed mana bar.
And they know 100% that Sejuani is bottom half of the map. Because they had the deep ward on the blue buff as well, they know the Sejuani will be threatening Double Lift and Core JJ, so Smithy has full power to try and influence this Aurelia lane. Here we go, Sejuani once again showing on this control ward by Scuttle Crab now.
Yeah.
Acadian, though, was able to find it with the Scryer's Bloom, so actually gets some experience and gold for himself.
That's true.
So.
And they know 100% that Sejuani is in the bottom river. Literally a ward. Not that they didn't know already, as the Scuttles are going to be traded as well. We saw that in the previous game. That seemed fairly likely to kind of intuit or completely deduce each other's position, and you trade those pretty equally. Red plus the passive. He gets it. He had the timed out.
As soon as I thought Jensen headed right for that Scuttle Crab.
Would you have taken it?
I 100% would have taken it. I definitely also would have been pissed if I was the jungler, because you want to save time by letting the red buff burn kill off the Scuttle Crab, and you can walk away from it. Right now, though, getting a look at the invade here from Smithy on the...
You got the big rug. He's got a blue buff, so he's actually feeling pretty comfortable right now. As Acadian's going to knock down the rest of his camp, though his smite was already chunked. And okay, 2 more small crabs. That's not too bad. That's a little bit of gold taken away that Sejuani's not going to get back anytime soon, so that's actually pretty solid. It also kept Impact safe when he went kind of underneath the turret to shove in Broken Blade.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely do win that 2v2. They want to keep up the pressure on the turret. Engage on bottom.
That was really nicely played, I think, on all sides as Ven jumps away. Smithy finds a taunt, but out goes Protege once again, and we can see this bottom lane has that small farm lead towards the Team Liquid duo.
Yeah, very threatening. You touched on it a little bit in Champion Select, but the Zyra Calm so potent early on. Core JJ, of course, was one of the stars for the team on the international stage as well. Even though they had a slow start, I think most people he was pretty much redeemed in their eyes in the IG series, as well as finishing up that tournament. We'll see if Acadian actually does run into Core JJ, as said, and he's looking for the deep wards. Control ward going down actually gives you an alert, so they know he's there. Doesn't get in time to
rip recall.
Actually get the recall off, but just means Core JJ, maybe what are you gonna miss there?
Yeah, whatever.
A tiny piece of...
he had enough to upgrade his Spell Thieves, right?
Okay,
So,
that's actually big.
that would have been some gold income that maybe he would have wanted, but it's whatever. His mana bar is good enough, and regardless. So, yeah, once again, Sejuani Deuce down on the bottom side, actually knocks down the ward herself, I believe. And regardless, is pretty happy to take down the rest of these jungle camps.
As he's approaching level 6 too, for the TSM side, I would turn your eyes towards a Sejuani Aurelia combination. Aurelia is able to set up the Sejuani passive so effectively, can dash in, and also it sets up her own stun. So there's just so many ways to CC a Kennen who has very low life. If you're able to land one, then you can chain them effectively into a kill. So I think that is a very big point to contest right now. And you can tell Smithy also worried about this, because the level 6s are coming in right now. That's where the kill pressure becomes extremely real.
And they are trying right away with the ultimate on. They find that first stun, plenty of damage in towards his top laner. Broken Blade. Oh, he's not going to land the ult! And it could have meant the kill, but it's not going to come through. Smithy gets first blood for Team Liquid.
Impact with the slightest sidestep there. Dodges the ultimate from Broken Blade. There is no counter kill, and it was Team Liquid who went to the top lane first. They find the first kill. Smithy's still around though, and actually not going to be any teleport left. Broken Blade had used his much earlier.
Yeah.
That means even turret plates on top of it. That kill is more far-reaching than we initially thought.
Broken Blade TP down really makes it so difficult. As the stun comes in, they just have the damage.
All right, yeah. So both ultimates going off. Smithy made the early move up there, and Broken Blade, yeah, with Impact moving down, he just misses the ultimate there, and that means there's going to be no counter kill. If that ultimate hits, he can get the counter kill onto Impact, and it's not quite as bad a situation. Still would be positive for Team Liquid.
Yeah.
In this world, though, that is going to be a very big boost. Impact's actually going to take that and go straight for the Proto Belt. He's not even going to go for the kind of halfway point where we were seeing...
Oh, wow. Katie gets like all of it right there. Almost, I think actually every single chicken
Definitely got
goes over to Sedge.
most of the money there.
Okay, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, it's a small prize after your top laner just got ganked, and Olaf got a very big power window here, opened up on the top side of the map, but you definitely need that as a moral victory.
Yep, something. The game right now, though, still 1,300 apart. Definitely really solid. Look at this, a blue buff steal coming in as well. Smithy just chunks this thing down. Jensen only has one ability that reaches over the wall. There's the Q. Slaps down with the chains, and that is a buff stolen away. He'll actually tie up and farm as well as Jensen shoves in, but pretty good intuition by the TSM side. They're gonna, they're not going for, they're gonna start on this graph right here, but they can also go for the dive. Impact has ult, has flash, has TP, and has a sense this is happening. You see, puts down a ward, looks around, finds a Katie, and puts down another ward, says, okay, no dive, get away from me.
Yeah, and look at that. He sacrificed 3 minions in order to go get that vision, in order to go cut off the possibility, in addition to Smithy coming back. So this is not a blue trade.
Yeah.
That was not a counter from TSM, as Smithy's able to rotate quick enough back to defend their own blue. This is very big control of the early game.
A lot of damage now across this bot lane as well as Smithy takes a couple of auto attacks. There's the root in from Double Lift, and small HP lead down there, plus 9 CS on top of it. And now Smoothie with a control up there. Now he's gonna actually be able to see Jensen. That control to that brush means a lot, but they're gonna go for the dive right now anyway. What's Jensen gonna try to steal? Does he get anything at all? They get back over the wall now. He's gotta be careful. Acadian does not go for the R. Over goes Jensen. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah, Jensen also not stealing that Sejuani ultimate on his way out. Maybe he was a bit too scared, didn't want to waste any second on an animation. But it's definitely one of the big ones that I like to steal whenever a Sejuani passes by. See if it comes in handy later. Zier's just fine as well. Broken Blade on the top side has been able to do just fine as far as CS is concerned, considering the early attempt there from Smithy was successful.
So far, so good, I guess, as the farm is still equal topside. Just that kill, of course, meaning a fair bit. The assist plus 200 gold to Impact means that top lane match plus the plate. Yeah, it's 500 gold in favor of Impact. That's quite meaningful. More than the CS would tell you, absolutely.
And most of that is going to come to fruition in the team fights. He is going full AP Kennen here.
Yep.
He's going for the AoE damage, the big flank. Kennen ultimate trying to come in with the flash. So again, the things you're going to have to look out for. TSM warding for their flanks to find Impact, make sure he can't teleport in, make sure he can't flash in, and then Bjergsen with the Azir ultimate is their answer.
Yep.
Gonna try and push him back out, and doesn't want to do it too early or it gets flashed as well. Both junglers on the bottom side though.
Up. 3 on 3. There's the first taunt. A lot of CC. They chained it together. And Core JJ is down. Now the re-engage towards Smoothie. Does not have flash. Stopwatch buys some time. They knock him down. Forking ult. Forking away with that one. TP's canceled. Now it's the runaway for Smoothie. They're going to find the first stun. In comes Acadian. The rest of the squad looking for the damage output. It's close, but they do get that first kill. Now Acadian in run. And Double versus Sven. He's going to turn it around. And he taunts him with it. A triple kill for the TL bot laner.
Oh my goodness, topside, going for a 1v1-2.
More damage coming in. Forcing the ult out of Impact. Pretty solid for Broken Blade. They're both going to live, though.
Oh my goodness.
That was spicy. That was exciting. That was some great stuff right there. But it's 2,000 gold out of Team Liquid. They won that fight 3-2.
My goodness, double lift taunting. First game of summer, and he's back on fire. I love it when you have that timing and the opportunity. You don't always get it without any escape available for the Ezreal. But he is able to, he takes it, and this is a 3-kill Xayah, by the way. You talk about those crit builds being effective. They're certainly effective when you have the extra money.
First person perspective, pro view in action, double if. Looking to chunk things down, you can see aims the Q forward, tries to time the E. There's the ult into the root to make sure he can claim that kill. And just kiting back, he's always outside of auto range. Kites to the left, make sure he's not getting hit by Sejuani. Stays focused on the most important target, puts some more Qs down, and then he lines up the double root, which is beautiful. And then right here, he's like, nah, we're good. Takes it down. Beatable stuff. Hashtag ProView.
All right, 350 bounty on Double Imp's head now, as well as a huge burst of power. Wait, let's take a look at the Riftfield trade for Dragon. What kind of dragon is that? Can't see because the whole lot over it. Mountain Dragon, not the best early game trade. Maybe it comes to, to become a point of power later on. But as of right now, I like the play from TSM, getting this Rift Veil. They can try and get some money into the Aurelia split push opportunity. If you just activate that on the top side, turret plates are still active for another minute and a half. That is real money you can cash in very quickly.
Oh, this is a giant stun right there. Low damage with impact, but gets the ulti off. It has reinforcements arriving. Jensen here has a stun up as well. They can
they're not in range.
Oh, it's close. It's going to get the charge. Let's go. Oh, and pushed it back forward. Has to burn stopwatch. Should they go for the kill? They don't think they have the damage. He's going to get away.
I'm pretty sure they were not in range. TSM on the side of the Rift Trail. I didn't see any gold go over. That was so close. They were just on the edge of the range there, but
yeah, they didn't get it.
Team Liquid are able to deny so much of that value. The damage is still real, and it helps you take down the turret earlier, but a lot of the value is in the 300 odd gold that you're able to get off those turret plates.
For sure, no plates. Gold did not tick up. They didn't get the plates there, so Herald got almost nothing other than the damage.
Yeah, it's one of the big ideas when defending against Rift Herald. Yes, it's nice if you can kill it off early and not get the charge off, but just zoning people away from the turret so they can't get the money from the turret plates falling because you have to be within that range is a huge part of defending that objective and swings it right back into the favor of Team Liquid for the Mountain Drake trade.
Yep, definitely agree with that one. So it's TL looking quite good. MSI finalists, who would have shocked? Who'd be shocked they're smashing in North America already? But look at this, their lead is sizable. Nearly 4,000, only 14 minutes in. Double up on triple kill. He is smashing. And this is now Jensen looking a bit aggressive. Finds that stun. He's stoked for a little while. He got 5 seconds on top of it. Here comes Impact, finds a bit of damage. The rest of the squad is here. They find that first kill. And Smoothie can only show up far too late to arrive. And that is another kill on the board for Team Liquid.
Team Liquid, hot off of MSI, are still on fire here in the North American LCS, pushing this lead to the limits. 4,000 gold up, 14 minutes into the game. They're converging around mid lane and eyes on the turret.
All right, the 3-time in a row LCS champions. Looking at split number 4, and a win over the finalists would be nice for them to start this one out pretty well. This trip's going to drop pretty quickly. Second turn of the game goes to TL as well as Bot had fallen a little while ago. Plenty of gold on this squad. This lead now 4,500.
All right, mid turret going down, opens up those options. You can see already Core JJ, after they took the objective, he's trying to invade into the jungle, leave wards behind on the top side. Xmithy doing the same on the bottom side, but Acadian defense.
A couple wards get killed off. TSM getting the bottom river back towards themselves as this red will go to Xmithy. Looks like no one's going to be handing it over. The Xayah far too far away.
As you can see, this kind of top jungle side is what we're looking at with all the extra wards Team Liquid are able to leave behind. It gave them the confidence to finish off this top turret, and now there's no defenses for TSM on the top half of the map. We're still 4.5 minutes away from Baron, from that becoming the big problem, but it also can hamper your gold income this early into the game. Bottom side though.
Another attempt towards Broken Blade, pinning damage here. All up pops the ult, plenty damage there. Oh, he gets the Q and he flashes to guarantee it. He's gonna have that one picked up. Double TP comes in though, 2-on-2. Oh, an Impact flashes away from the Azir roll, which means they have the damage to kill Bjergsen. But Ezreal, he learned in the academy, and he's not gonna get the damage though. The books aren't good enough. Out goes Xmithy. TSM can't get anything.
Team Liquid on the bottom side ahead again. Huge advantage just from the gold plates, as you can see, and they're pressing it.
Core JJ wants this one. W's forward does run away a little bit. But that is still an escape forced out, and Team Liquid still pushing forward everywhere. 3 turrets picked up, all 3 outers are gone.
All right, no reason to let up on the push here. Jensen and Double have shoved in mid lane. You can see TSM are trying to defend with a lot of these control wards on the top side of the map, but both of these control wards are just missing the Team Liquid vision, so it's not really denying any of it. Broken Blade, take another look at this here. He does his best to dodge. You know, he uses the ultimate on impact. He goes for that minion with the Q, then flashes away and tries to dodge, but flash in, able to finish off that kill, and then Bjergsen, he gets his ultimate flashed there by impact. Very good flash from impact to deny that, because Bjergsen went for the offensive play, and once you commit with your flash on Azir for something like that, he cannot get out.
Yep.
You know, with Olaf right next to him, gets taken down as well.
I want to compliment a really heads-up play by Smithy. When he juked into that bottom brush, he dropped a control ward in case there was a ward there, so that Sven couldn't auto-attack him anymore. It means he would have to face check the brush to auto one more time. That is actually super heads-up. Of course, he lives, so Smithy, good job there. 1, 1, and 5, and he is just immediately onto full tank. It's first item into the Righteous Glory. It's none of that Black Cleaver stuff we had seen a little bit of before, none of the Redemption rush we've seen before. It is tank Olaf, and he is not dying.
This is definitely a very positive look from Team Liquid, that they're keeping up this quick pace from the international tournament. You know, at MSI, a lot of it is determined by so much of early game plays being made and snowballing effectively, not letting up on your opponents, not making those mistakes or letting them have windows to get back in it. And they're bringing it all back to front here on the LCS stage. Let's see what they can do on bottom half of the map. Impact and Smithy on the bottom side threatening this turret. Double F and Core JJ trying to hover between the two objectives.
As they walk back and forth, here they once again see this bottom lane as they look to clean away the way from the squad walks up. They've got Demolish available. Can they stay for it? Yeah, that's going to be a chunk put down, I believe, and turrets at half.
Yeah, I mean, you can see right there when the observers just toggled the vision, how difficult this amount of control makes it for TSM. Their only option is a head-on, straightforward engage into a team that is almost over 7,000 now, gold ahead of them, and they just do not have the stats in inventory to be able to win that fight. You're going to be charging into the Kennen ultimate then. That removes, the onus of Impact trying to find a sneaky way of getting this engage off, because you have no vision and you have no way into the fight other than straight up the lane. So 2 turrets taken there from Team Liquid.
Yeah. This is a very absurd lead. They are smashing. This is 5 turrets before Baron spawns. And what's actually, I like a lot actually, is the difference in play style, where I feel like a lot of the Impact and TL Impact play style is let Impact play something that is safe. We will camp for mid and bot lane. We will win through Jensen and Double if. Okay, they're doing great, don't get me wrong, but it's been these repeated ganks into the top side, into Broken Blade just for Impact in the 2-on-1. Those have been successful. Those have borne fruit twice now, and it was actually counter ganks. It was just, circumstantial opportunities that got the other carries ahead, so they've been aggressing towards Impact's lane, and that's been successful.
All right, let's see. Now, trying to play it from TSM's point of view, they've done a very good job of clearing out that top red quadrant of their jungle that we talked about earlier. And that is now approaching the important time because Baron is available. It's going to be very difficult for them to poke around in these brush and keep safe from the possible
flash. The flash comes in. Look at the damage output they've got. And a shot that in towards the cannon. Impact gets the ult, but not the survival. Running away to Smithy. What a perfectly timed stun. Acadian gonna make sure they can claim that second the damage comes through.
That is exactly what you have to do when you're this far behind. You can't hesitate if an opportunity presents itself. As we're talking around their red side vision around Baron, they just jump on the lazy member from Team Liquid immediately there with the flash from Smoothie. They open up a possible avenue to try and turn this game around. 20 minutes in, Team Liquid still with a giant lead, but TSM still fighting.
Those are the kind of things you need to see if you want them to come back. It's bit by bit. Drops the gold lead back to below 7,000. We can watch that fight one more time.
Yeah, Impact and Smithy here, fighting over the vision. They know they have the big lane. They actually pin themselves on the wall here in the jungle, so they have no escape, and Smoothie just flashes right in. Gets the double taunt. Even with Olaf ultimate on, you're able to stay in range for Sejuani ultimate long enough that as soon as it runs out, Acadian's able to hit it, and they follow up with the second kill, buying themselves some critical time. You know, coming back in games like this, where the enemy has such a big lead, is a multi-step process.
Yeah, it is.
Step number 1 was just taken.
Yep. Get a couple of kills, try to get some vision back. You can see the control wards still able to sit inside this top river, so TL still do own that territory, but the top jungle you mentioned, that's getting a bit closer. That's wards that TL have to put back down and keep trying again. Most recently, TSM did get a ward at the back of the bit. They can see Baron now. They've got that brush that Acadian can sit in, that CoreJJ has to face check in, and then, okay, can they fight over that vision? Okay, in this case, yes, because mid's pushed, but that will be fought back for once again, and that is now the dance we play, is these wards, these brushes, 2-3 steps forward. Okay,
now the next surprise engage is not going to come from Smoothie. The flash is the only thing that Galio has for those snap decisions. It has to be Acadian or Broken Blade trying to create the play for TSM and then having follow-up. But Team Liquid, that would require them to have a misposition. So we'll see if that takes place as they're trying to clear out these control wards. Because the map is getting very, very valuable. A new dragon is approaching right now, about to spawn, and Baron is also up. If you make a misstep, that will be your last. Because the Baron will get picked up, and the base will be destroyed.
Here we can see this vision getting darkened. There's that single ward inside their jungle. That was not going to be swept out, so it is information they have. They know Olaf is top side right here, and TSM not going to have to be afraid just yet. They are vaguely aware what's around them. Katie knocks down the ward, no one's threatening him, and a control ward gets back some of this vision. But still, we expect TL not on that just yet because they again knew Olaf was topside. That one ward let them know Baron could not be taken just yet, and it buys them that extra wave. Now they can shove in mid first. They get a little bit of extra space. Bjergsen, oh, he's going to get spotted out, has to jump away. Should not be killed for this one, but that's Bane's veiled down. It's a 45-second cooldown. That is another turret dropping as TL retaking this top jungle at least a little bit and stretching their lead 6 turrets to 0. They are absolutely playing the better League of Legends right now.
All right, let's see what the response from TSM can be after a reset here. They're all trying to shove up mid and get some immediate gold rather than looking for anything like the Ocean Drake. You know, vision around Baron. Again, this is the game-breaking objective. This is how Team Liquid win immediately would be the next step. So they're trying to clear out these control wards and give themselves a fighting chance in that.
Looking for the play right there. A stun towards the back line. Doing a ton just yet, but there could be a re-engage. Sven looks for a slow. Sorry, Jensen does. Can't find it just yet. As red buff is being attacked and actually claimed. Doublist steals that one.
Yeah, you can see Broken Blade was looking for a teleport from base. Little, yeah, spread out blast cone there.
Quick jump scare.
But it's easy for Ezreal, able to jump away. And TSM still, they know this is happening because of the previously placed ward. They're going to go for it. They have to take this fight. This is going to be it.
Oh, a Fog of War throw's not going to land for Acadian. Cannot find impact of that one. A nice attempt. Oh, comes across. Already picked up. Nicely done there by Liquid. And now it's time for the team fight. Broken Blade shoved to the side, waiting for the presence to come back for those roots. If TSM re-engages, there's the attempt. Gets 2 of the backliners. That's going to give a lot of space for TL to walk away. Ulti burned by Smithy. And an ulti from the fake Aurelia slows down the squad as well.
Yep, Silas there able to steal a couple of ultimates, uses Sejuani, use the Aurelia. TSM will have to take the consolation prize. Ocean Drake will be it. They can move down and pick that one up and try to use that regeneration for the defense. The onslaught that is about to come from Team Liquid with Baron buff is already headed straight through mid lane, though. They have to reset and get into defensive positioning immediately.
Yep, they're already running up right here. Thankfully for them, there's so many turrets already dead that, you know, the ones that are going to be attacked are close to the fountain. So, you know, silver linings and all that.
Always looking on the bright side.
Absolutely. And TL just pushing forward and forward. Speaking of silver, their gold lead is gigantic, and 9,000 up, looking to knock him down this turret. Double it a bit by himself, but does have the ult and flash if he needs it. Looking now at Smoothie. Oh, they stuff him up. Do they have enough to stop him? Not quite yet. He does have that extra shock and stays alive for today. Chunked a little bit down to half HP. Actually, good shots out of Sven.
Yeah, that's actually really valuable health lead that TSM just got there, chunking out the duo lane. Maybe that buys them a little bit more time. It's like a double lift can heal up off the wave. CoreJJ on the Rakan, a little bit more risky when he looks for the all-in.
The Ocean Drake actually, it means quite a lot on offense is the funny thing. That was denied. TSM did pick that up, and it means that the TL siege is that little bit harder. The regen on Rakan not terribly high. He's bounced around that Q healing, and that's hard to get when you're sieging.
Yeah, and TSM, you can see the wave clear from Azir in the top side. Mid lane, the tower's getting whittled down. Broken Blade possibly looking for the side engage. You can see Jensen's already level 16 on Sylas though. You get the really low cooldown, plus he's got blue buff, so he can steal multiple ultimates in a team fight.
They find those stuns, they're committed for the play. Here's Coordinator trying to keep his teammates alive and does kite back. That's a really ult not getting much, but now he re-steals Sejuani. That's the lockdown on Acadian. Pops Stoneblade, flashes away, stays alive. Impact loses his ultimate as well.
That's actually really big, trading those cooldowns. Ocean Drake can heal up TSM. Team Liquid, though, aren't done. Top tower's dead, and mid tower very close to follow.
It will fall, and Jensen has his ult back as well. Steals now Ezreal this time around. One auto attack, that's going to be dropping. And now True Shot Barrage with a bunch of ability power is going to mean even more as bot lane is clear, but top inhibitor is open.
Again, this is over a 10,000 gold lead by Team Liquid. Baron buff on the inhibitors. Those things are dying fast, and this might be it. TSM trying to chase them off. The last few seconds of that inhibitor are going to go down.
This is double inhibs dropping. That's going to happen for sure. We're under 28 minutes in. TL have completely broken the base. And as Baron whittles down, they might look to reset right here, take their hard-earned gold lead of 10,000, shop one last time, and close it out through bot lane.
Whew. What a return to the North American LCS here.
Yeah.
By Team Liquid. People were very curious what they would look like. You know, a lot of training goes into international tournaments. It looks like that training was well placed despite the patches being a bit different. And now they're looking to finish up game number 1 for themselves and have it be a triumphant return back to home soil.
Absolutely the case right here. Picked up is a Scuttle Crab for double up. Now some attacks in towards the opposing support. Smoothie pushed off now. And TL once again can move around, looking for something else to do. Mid lane is where a lot of their attention is. It's going to be Jensen solo in the bottom lane. The rest of the squad split between mid and top. They can pressure Nexus turret with that, and Jensen can easily knock down a turret when unopposed. Still holds the 1 level lead over Bjergsen. Of course, as the ulti back up, it's got like a 12-second cooldown.
Yeah, it's definitely very scary for TSM right now. They have to try and clear super minions while also avoiding the initiation from Core JJ and Impact. This is a Rakan with Flash available. Like, that is one of the scariest initiations in the entire game, followed up by Kennen, which is one of the biggest AoE follow-ups in the entire game. Team Liquid now, inside the base, forcing the super minions down TSM's throat.
Here we go, pushing in for this one. The 4-1 split, looking for who's going to defend what. These supers doing plenty of damage to Nexus turret. There's the flash, not going to land! And Smoothie could not find the taunt. Now a big damage towards Broken Blade. A stun towards Double C's going to stay alive. There's Katie going forward. Nice ult dodge the way. Coordinator finds that first knockup. There's the pullback. What's the dive going to look like? One stun. Ult Pop's going to stay alive now as the rest of the squad. But they are losing turrets. They are losing structures. A stun towards the back line. Acadian's down. They'll find Smoothie as well. Team Liquid 5-on-3. They will absolutely shatter the base. And a sub-30-minute win in a rematch. The finals, Team Liquid pick up where they left off, beating TSM and being number 1 in the LCS as a few more kills come in and a slaughter on the Rift for Team Liquid.
Woo. Team Liquid come back firing.
Yeah.
Winning on both sides of the map. Double F tauntings, Van on the bottom side. Definitely a highlight. Smithy with the early gank towards Impact. Also getting their Kennen ahead. Just meant that there was so much control for the early stages. They definitely had a very good time snowballing that.
That game far exceeded my expectations for Team Liquid. I knew they were very good, of course, but we knew TSM fought them close. Vacation did not stop TL at all. They came out freaking swinging.
Defeating the defending world champions at MSI. Definitely gonna do that for you. And TSM gonna take the loss here on the opening day, but against, you know, one of the absolute hardest opponents that they possibly could.
Right, this is not the kind of match where you should actually be sad about TSM. You're like, yeah, no, that's a really good team. This is, like, it makes the rematch that more exciting, of course. Okay, we didn't get a revenge just yet, but they're going to try again in week like 6 or 7 or whatever. That's going to be hype that time around. It's going to be a whole summer split of awesome games. Now, to give us their thoughts on that victory, let's send it down to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. We thought they would be slow starters. Team Liquid themselves thought they would be slow starters. We heard it from Steve there. A couple patches behind from MSI, just ramping back up into their practice schedule now. They were absolutely not slow starters here with a crushing victory over TSM.
I think TSM even thought that Team Liquid was going to be slow because they drafted a really late game comp thinking, oh yeah, they're going to be the same old Team Liquid. This is not spring Team Liquid. This team, if this is them saying, oh yeah, we just got back, we just want some rest, I'm like, oh my god, how much better can they get?
Well, the thing is, like, the meta's not that different from MSI. You're still playing Sylas mid, you're still playing Kennen top, you're playing Olaf, which Smithy has probably played a bajillion games of, and then Zyra Khan has become stronger in the meta, which is something that is one of Core JJ's best champs. He's got a world skin on it, so like, in terms of comfort, this is all TL comfort. And
Without a doubt.
Yeah, I think the way TSM attacked the draft with their last 2 picks of Azir and Ezreal really kind of showed that they thought they would come out slow, but this wasn't close.
No.
Top 3, it's like top 1. That's it.
Yeah, it's going to make us question our whole narrative coming into the split. But no, I mean, it's really interesting to see as we look at Doublelift's crushing numbers here. I mean, a victory with a 3-0 KDA 15, a massive CSD. Not going to feel good for Sven and Smoothie in the bottom lane.
All those kills was just one play, right?
Yep.
That was just one triple kill. The rest is just farming, pressuring the map. So it was just Team Liquid rotating and moving faster than TSM the whole way through.
That's what makes this game kind of hard to talk about. It's like Smithy went top, they got a kill, great, and then Impact felt like he was on an island the rest of the game. They get a triple kill in the bot lane, then Doublelift's on an island the rest of the game. Sylas and Olaf were the only two who kind of interacted with other lanes, and it felt like not like TSM didn't show up, but just like other than that one play where they forced really hard, there was like nothing.
That's what's nutty, right? You get one play here, one play there, a play mid, and suddenly, all right, that's enough for Team Liquid to win, and you don't have a chance to come back. That's a pretty difficult place to be.
Some of that is a product of the compositions, right? TL is a more early game focused composition, so once they do secure that lead, they are, of course, off to the races. But to me, what this game speaks to is the idea that Team Liquid has come back from MSI, still holding on to some of what they learned in MSI. They didn't necessarily regress into the image of TL that perhaps TSM thought they would be playing, and instead, this is a fast-paced Team Liquid who's not afraid to take the fight to you.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely felt like this is a team returning from MSI with lessons learned. Like, yeah, we're a more controlled team, and it's not going to be a high kill game, but it's going to be fast. Like, as soon as we have you under control, we're ending the game.
I got no problems with that.
No problem. Some more of that, please.
Your portfolio just took a pretty big
it was
air on the first day of the game of the LCS. With that, we're going to send it over to Avli, who's ready for an interview with the victorious bot lane.
Thanks, Dash. Doublelift, congratulations on the game. It looked like Team Liquid was smurfing. You guys had the 10K gold lead. You had the crazy triple kill in bot lane early in the game. I mean, this was supposed to be the rematch of the 5-game series of finals. So were you expecting more?
Yes. I was expecting their bot lane to like play to win lane, I guess. But they didn't. They just played to farm. And then yeah, I don't know. It was a bit weird. I think right now Sejuani Irelia is kind of like this powerhouse combo. A lot of teams are realizing just like how strong that is as just like a kind of solo lane jungle duo, but they weren't really playing around it very well. Usually what I see is like they're just holding each other's hands like the whole game, but I think their bot lane was asking for help and also their mid was like no pressure early. So Jensen was moving around a lot, and anyways, yeah, I was expecting TSM to play a little differently. I think it might have been a draft issue, but we snowballed and then it's just doomed.
Okay, well then maybe just in short, is this TSM an improvement to the TSM that you saw in finals?
Definitely not. I would say we're an improvement to the TL that we saw in the finals. So I expect us to be a lot better than, barely beating them in a best of 5. But it's hard to improve in the offseason, right? Because the best team, the best practice team, which was us, wasn't here for practice while MSI was going on. And also, I don't know. I think it's weird because we didn't get to play on this patch much. And honestly, like I was a little bit burnt out after MSI. So I haven't been really practicing much. I've been playing scrims like since we came back, but yeah, I haven't really been, able to put in my best effort. But even with that, I think our team is just a lot better than theirs. So it was just a funny game to me.
Well, tell me a little bit about that fatigue, because I think Steve was saying there might be a slow start for you guys since you were just coming back from MSI. So did that really affect, I guess, the team as a whole?
Well, we learned a lot from MSI, right? So that the lessons that we got will never ever go away. Like I will never forget like kind of the reasons and all the intricacies of why I lost lane to Perks and Mickey X. And you know, all the games at MSI were lessons, even the ones that we won. But yeah, mechanically, I'd say we're not like super up to par. When I came back, I didn't play League for like over a week or like about a week. And then I came back in scrims and I was like basically just running it down. So mechanically, I would say I'm at like 70% right now. So you know, this is a chance for LCS teams to take advantage of me, I guess. But yeah, when I'm like on form, I think there's pretty much no one domestically that can match me in core and lane.
Well, I mean, it was still enough to take down TSM, but I want to talk about MSI specifically because you guys just came back from a phenomenal international performance. You were playing the best in the best across the world, so I guess you were saying you were learning lessons. How specifically did it level up the team play?
Oh, like so many ways. I think in NA, I like the best way to describe it is in NA, like a 70-30 play is what's considered like a good play, right? And that's because if you're a really good team, like, for example, when I was on TSM in season 7 and 6, and then on Team Liquid in the last 2 seasons, like a 70-30 play is what's considered, like, that's the good play. Because a lot of reasons, like, you're just better than them. You don't need to take 50-50s. You don't even need to take 60-40s because you're just better. But like internationally, the margins are really slim. So teams that are willing to take those 60-40s and like really practice at them, even 50-50s and practice doing that, they're like way better. They're just way better of a team. Like they know exactly, they have so many more chances to win the game than you because you're only looking for like those little tiny moments in the game where it's like overwhelmingly on your side. So like I think that's kind of like the biggest lesson, and it kind of makes sense that like the best team from NA would always play that way. You know, the safe, the like high percentage plays, because that's what wins you domestically when the competition is so bad. And then you go internationally and all the competition is good. Even like the Vietnamese team was really good. So like those teams are kind of like way more risky and wild. And that's like when it came back, we're like, we have to play that way. Like we just need to. So yeah, we're working on that. And yeah, sometimes in scrims especially, we've been kind of messing up a lot because you need to have good mechanics to pull those off. And we're working on it.
All right, well, as an NA fan, I mean, it was incredibly exciting watching you guys go all the way through finals. I mean, you came into MSI with the goal of, oh man, I gotta get out of groups. Jensen, carry me out of groups. Can we make it? But you made it to semifinals, whooped IG, the world champions, and then went all the way to finals to face against G2. So what is it gonna take for you to pull off the same performance and take finals in Worlds?
I think not much. People think the difference, I said this at MSI too, the difference between us and the best team is so big. It's not. It's really, really, really thin, the margin. So I think like we came to MSI and we were like the underdogs, but how much were the underdogs? Like 5%, 10%? But people thought it was like, there's no way we're going to win. Like, you know, we're never going to win a best of 5 against a good team. I think that's crazy. You know, G2 beat SKT, we beat IG. I don't like to dwell on the past and like gloat about past accomplishments because to me, MSI was actually like a failure because we didn't win, and I really, really wanted to win. So yeah, like it's reasonable to say that any team can win Worlds this year. Every other year you'd be like laughed out of the room, like hard memes, but this year I think the results kind of back it up. Like an NA or EU team could win Worlds. It's like really reasonable to say that. So that's pretty sick. I feel like NA fans have just been like getting dumped on for their whole lives because NA teams just suck internationally, and it's like a glimmer of hope. So hopefully we don't crush it at the end of the year. We like can bring the hopes up again.
We're the number 2 region in the world now, baby, thanks to Team Liquid. But okay, let's talk about domestic then. You guys, number 2 team at MSI. Coming into summer, are there any teams that have caught your interest or that you see may approach you as an equal?
You know, I want every team in NA, this sounds really corny, I want every team in NA to be really good. And that's because it's going to be really hard for us not to make Worlds. And if we do make Worlds, I mean, well, hopefully when we make Worlds, like our region can be really strong. And that means that like we have our own individual strats. We have like our own playstyles and strengths and stuff. There's a lot of like formless teams in NA, I think. Not really sure what like TSM's playstyle is right now because we've only played it like against them like one game, but like, you know, like you want every team to have like their own strengths. And right now in NA, there's a lot of teams with just no strengths. They just have like only weak points. And then if you can attack those and you're the better team, you always win. I think like we went internationally and like we were scrimming against teams that weren't at MSI. the teams that maybe lost in playoffs or maybe even didn't make playoffs. And those teams were insane. They were so good. Those teams would be like top 3 in NA. And over there, they're not even good enough to make playoffs.
Well, Doublelift, thank you very much, and congratulations again on your win. And for everyone else, up next, CLG and 100 Thieves debut in Game 3. And if you want to show either team your support, check out the LCS Team Pass available in client today. Select your team and earn yourself a team icon, team ward skins, and a team-specific chroma for Dragon Slayer Braum, one of the most used skins in pro play. Check out the Team Pass in client today and meet us back here for Game 3 after the break.
So who's hovering Ezreal, guys? I am. Okay.
Okay.
You have to have a scanner.
Just Jensen.
Right away with the ultimate on, they find that first stun, plenty of damage in towards his top and a broken blade. Oh, he's not gonna win!
Double no flash, there is no flash. There is no flash, there is no flash.
You can get it, Peter. Nice, good job.
Nice, nice. This is really good.
Peter, why are you BMing this early?
Sorry.
Peter.
Double TP comes in, though, 2-on-2. Oh, an impact flashes away from the Azir roll, which means they have the damage to kill Bjergsen. Go. Coming.
Nice.
I can ult that guy after.
Yeah.
But they're losing turret, they're losing structure. Stun towards the back, Acadian's down. They'll find Smoothie as well. Team Liquid, 5-on-3. They will absolutely shatter the base.
A great product can define the present, but it takes the unprecedented to define the future. To go beyond what's next and change the world of gaming. To make history, break ground, and force the universe to take notice. The world's most powerful and most upgradable gaming laptop with Intel Core processors, the Area 51M, defines the future of gaming.
That's so sick. That's exactly what I want, actually. This tool is like something I've wanted since I started playing professionally. But I think what's gonna happen is the really shit players in LCS are gonna get exposed for being really, really bad. Since you can watch perspective from start to finish, you get to see like all the things that they're doing wrong, and hopefully they'll get kicked and replaced with better players, so the competition can be better.
It always came down to two people. The divine pairing. One will live, and one will die.
Do you do this often? To get people?
You're my first one, actually. The individual could be a high-level target.
I can't go to Yemen. I'm an analyst.
Get on the plane. I'm only human after all. There's something different about his agenda.
Paris was only the beginning.
Do what I can, don't put the blame on me.
I want to give you a normal life.
But I'm not normal, am I?
The individual could be a high-level target.
I can't go to Yemen. I'm an analyst.
Get on the plane. There's something different about his agenda. Don't put the blame on me.
The world has stolen from me my whole life. Maybe I have this thing so I can steal some of it back.
And they say I have a grim sense of humor.
And you're back for opening day of the summer split, and just in time for two teams trying to rewrite their stories with notable roster moves. The question is, will the moves be enough? Let's start with last split's 10th place team in 100 Thieves, as they brought on a veteran jungler in Amazing.
Yeah, I think this is something that for me, I am looking forward to, with slight optimism, because with what went wrong with 100 Thieves last split, like they were kind of depressing to watch. Their whole attitude, the environment was so downtrodden because they came in with these expectations of we're going to be contending for the top potentially, and then you're the 10th place team. And I think now that expectations have been reset, you've swapped out both your mid and jungler, like you don't necessarily need a vastly superior jungler to turn around a 10th place team in that position.
Yeah, I'm not really looking at 100 Thieves as a team that needs to rise up in the standings significantly. I just want to see their morale go up. I want to see a team that's out there having fun, that's out there enjoying the camaraderie that comes with being part of an LCS team. And Maurice, having experience being on previous teams, should be able to bring that into a team that has a new player that just came up from Academy in Soligo, moving up into mid.
Fun fact, Amazing comes to us here in the studio straight from Customs. Literally just got off the
best
plane
pregame.
And came to the studio after making it through Customs to play this very game. So he will, of course, have those kind of outside factors, maybe some fatigue that he's working through. But I think the point that you mentioned, Mark, the idea of the veteran aspect here and not necessarily needing this insane carry jungler or individual performance out of him, but the change in environment for 100 Thieves to hopefully allow them to just, not stew in the failure of their spring split.
Well, 100 Thieves, if you look at every member except the mid laner, they basically have almost 30 years worth of league play time. You've got Someday, you've got Amazing, you've got Afromu and Bang in the bottom lane. I mean, this is the best
are OGs.
time to get a mid laner trained up to speed, and hopefully we get to see some big things out of this rookie mid.
Now, their opponent today, former champion, who are far away from those glory days, is CLG. They picked up Ruin, so another big acquisition over from the TCL.
And Ruin has not really been on the greatest of teams so far, but he comes from the TCS region, from 1907 from Fenerbahce Esports, and I think that he might be the right move for CLG. CLG has been, for the past few years, getting rid of people that have been kind of a legacy people. Ziggs moving away from CLG into TSM just to change things up. Darshan had been on CLG for so long that now it looks like they're just trying to mix things up and change the environment, because we don't really know if mechanically this is going to be a massive upgrade.
The change the environment part is where I'm a little pessimistic about this move, though, where I was maybe optimistic for 100 Thieves. I think there's been a number of people who have left the CLG organization recently at the higher up levels. And then you had these problems last split that while Darshan was not a standout performer, I don't think he was the big issue. And I thought that they ran into a bunch of problems around their overall culture of practice and who they were putting on the stage.
Both of these teams here trying to change things around going into the summer split. We'll see which one of them finds more success as they dive into Champion Select. Kobe and Freak, take it away.
Thank you very much, Dash. We are here for the third game of the day. Once again, it's the opening day of the LCS Summer Split. Both these teams can get their start with a win here, and it's a good tune-up game. I feel like both these were squads that did miss playoffs in the spring split. They both switched out a player and think this is now the combination that will win us the games. On my side, I think these are both good choices for the teams. I think I have high hopes for both these squads.
Yeah, they talked about it a lot on the LSS. This is battle of the changes. These are teams that needed to make changes after last split, and they both did so. In addition to the new players, Amazing and Ruin on both teams, I also consider, Wiggly fairly fresh onto the lineup. Coming from their academy roster as well as Saligo. Both those guys already played, on the starting roster, but have still looked like they need time to work with the rest of the team and really meld. Again, though, a lot of solo lane bans, as we're seeing. The Aurelia, Kali, Silas, and Rise all taken off. Plus, new Aatrox.
Yep.
Crumbs predicted it after that first game, and probably not going to see the healing monster anymore.
But we will see this special kind of monster. Cats in general. Yuumi gonna be locked in. She was banned before, but now she will be played. Biofrost on a cat.
Did you see the smirk on Biofrost's face, too, as he's able to lock it in?
Yep.
Yuumi, very relaxing champion. Just attach yourself to Stixay, fire off your skill shots, and for the laning phase, you don't have to pop off too much. I do like the fact, though, that you do have to get off of your marksman sometimes to get your auto attack so you can get your shield.
And your
that
mana
is a
attack,
very,
yeah.
it's a very important part. Get your mana, get your shield off, and getting to know that cooldown as it changes over your level, by the way, is definitely one of the finer points to Yuumi, and we'll see how well that is used in trades. We've also, Azael was talking about on the dive, but jumping off to block a skill shot, and then jumping back on. So you do have some health you can use in those skirmishes. You don't have to just rely on your marksman.
Yeah, Yumi's okay on that. The only stat that she has that's actually super low is magic resist. She's actually absurdly low MR. Her armor's fine. Her health is only slightly down, so can tank some if needed.
Corki is a good answer.
Yeah, there we go. We got a magic image bot lane, but it's already Xayah picked up here. Sivir gonna go up alongside, and though she is a pretty short-range champion, can spell shield some of the engaged tools and might just stay alive here. It's certainly pretty good for early team fighting. Yuumi, of course, very good at also, once you get into team fights, more supporting the melee champions and hopping onto champs like Sejuani and frontlining with them.
And this, Yumi's a very new champion. I haven't seen that many combinations, but I have played against the Yuumi Sivir. And while a lot of people are focused on the Yuumi Ezreal poke combinations, Sivir with the Boomerang Blade and the Ricochet takes out the wave, and Yuumi is able to poke them under turret. Is so incredibly annoying. So we'll see if you get some vision, you get some control around that bottom lane. A Sivir Yuumi can be very, very impressive.
All right, well, you got the kind of expected once the Xayah was locked in, the Xayah duo. They did win on the TL side. Now it's Bang and Aphromu's turn to pick that one up. Definitely a duo that on paper should be incredible. Sadly for them, had a pretty lackluster spring split, but I still believe in the pedigree of those two players. 100 Thieves, a squad that some people had as like a top 3 team coming into the year, and it wasn't quite there, but we'll see what summer looks like for them as we now get into the second round of bans. Jace and LeBlanc taken off the table.
Yeah, I mean, that's a team that, because of the star power that you look at when you look at the roster, very high expectations. Amazing coming off some time in Europe, some time on the desk, some time coaching, jumped around a little bit, not quite sure where he's going to land as far as being back on the actual LCS stage, but Jarvan, definitely a jungler right now that has a lot of options. One of the few that can still go for the early gank pre-Scuttle Crabs. You can still just go red buff level 2 and try and get that early pressure off on one of your solo lanes, especially can be effective. So let's see if they have any early targets here for him to go after to try and snowball ahead. Typically, though, we've seen Someday be the focus early and Bang be the focus late.
Yep.
Someday's definitely done quite well in his lane, so let's see what he can get after these bans.
Yeah, 100 Thieves banned away Nico, which then made CLJ go, maybe they want to play Vladimir since AD Nico was good into that champion. So they added that one on as one of the mage champions, but you can still play Rumble. Lots of metagame top laners are out there. We've seen Rumble top quite a bit now very recently in both Collegiate and NA Academy. Cool to see this champion back in the metagame. One of my favorite top laners overall, and that's going to be a very spicy one. I like the champ a lot.
Yeah, definitely a lot of early power. Can push very effectively, clear through some trades as well. And Someday definitely well-versed on the champion, but it's also flexible. So Saligo could take it up.
Absolutely the case right there. The very standard Warwick hover for Stixay, his favorite champion. Hovers that one pretty much every single game. Grabs Ori for Power of Evil. We'll see if it's Nash's Truth or not. Who knows? He's going to roll the dice, pick whatever he wants, and now we got to figure out what is the top lane pick going to be. Odds are it's Rumble. You're right. It's still flexible. Could go to mid lane instead. They got to kind of keep track of both those matchups. Ken in a very safe blind, and that seems very likely for us here. AP versus AD can be decided, and that is going to be Kennen locked in.
Yeah, Kennen can just focus on the minions. He can stay out of the Flame Spitter range. Should be able to use the extra speed boost to try and avoid harpoons as well. And also brings an equally effective AP AoE ultimate to those team fights. If you look at the squad that CLG have drafted here, a Sejuani frontline, very standard here with strong support and backline threats for later in the game. So very clear, strong team fighting here for the CLG side. Meanwhile, with the Azir rounding that one out, looks like 100 Thieves will answer in kind. You have the combo with the Hot Pot, Rumble, Jarvan ultimates on top of each other. Azir, Xayah for later. So definitely have more possibilities similar to what we saw last game.
Definitely could be pretty scary stuff right then. I do like the late game team fight here on 100 Thieves, but of course, Sivir scaling plus Orianna scaling very good as well. There's no, I feel like, obvious team fight winners, but lots of really strong points of power kind of across the board. I think this will be a very exciting game. There's gonna be a lot of fighting. Should be pretty fun here as we wait to see. Shouldn't be any more swaps. Ken and Orianna gonna stay where they are. Azir, Rumble gonna stay where they are. These are the lineups for sure. Final remarks from the coaching staff. And we get to see the very beginning glimpses of were these changes the right ones? Were they enough to turn the fates around? CLG famously last year missed playoffs in this split as well. A bit surprising, but it did happen, hoping that now with a new top laner, no longer with Darshan, that'll be enough. 100 Thieves hoping that a switch in jungle, bringing Amazing back, last seen in North America 5 years ago on TSM. Went to World's top 8 then. Back in NA now, hoping to bring 100 Thieves somewhere good.
Super excited for the bottom lane specifically as well. With the Xayah Rakan into the Yuumi lane. Now it is a Sivir, so the spell shield is going to be annoying for those all-ins, but that is the idea. Try and attack them. Maybe they combine it with some jungle attention. Only the early game will tell. Ping's already coming down though. We might have some ventures out for a possible invade. Grouped up CLG. Looks like they're going straight mid with everybody. That's gotta be a look at an invade.
But Sligo, if he plays this right, he's gonna be able to spot them and know, yep, okay, there's Power of
Only
Evil.
one shows.
Pee-wee pushes them off and the rest of the squad can go right through the fog. After's gonna go inside this pit and look for something, but there's a chance he can get surrounded. He is not in a very safe location right now.
Definitely can jump over the wall. And they could have actually made their way all the way into this jungle during that time, but they have not. I like that we also got to lie in anticipation. Similar to 100 Thieves experience there. Very authentic.
Definitely approved.
Now they're rewinding a little bit here. Invades for the deep ward. But actually, let's see. Is it just the one sweeper start? Both sides with the sweepers. Jarvan as well. And with the zombie ward, they get a little bit of protection.
All right, so nothing too dangerous here. I do always really appreciate sweeper starts level 1. I think they make for very interesting mind games and create possibilities here.
And especially for junglers, one trick you can do is actually start with the trinket ward, go out and place it, then recall before minions spawn, grab up your sweeper, so that after you're clear, when you're going for your first gank, you'll also be able to use a sweeper to ensure that they don't have vision of you, plus get the value of that trinket. Definitely useful, at least for solo queue.
Now, this is the first Yuumi we are seeing in the LCS, and as Stats told me, we have our runes ready, so it's damage. It is Comet, it's Mana Flow Band, it's Scorch, it's Absolute Focus. Also, because she is support with fairly low health and is a damage-based champion, Cut Down is a very important pickup. Cut Down is actually very, very strong, but it's Presence of Mind, not Mana Flow Band, because of course it couldn't be, but it's a lot of mana and it's a lot of damage. That is the point of that champion. You max Q, you hit people hard.
And you can see what we were talking about before. You don't always want to stay attached to your AD carry. Biofrost wants to go off and get that passive auto attack, then jumping on with the shield is able to get a good trade there with Stixay.
Of course, level 2, yep, you max Q, you max the heal, which is E right afterwards. You look pretty good for this one. Looks next a little bit of poke. Just keeps updating the spell thief's damage.
Push is also very effective here, as you mentioned in Champ Select with the Sivir. Even just early on, they get control of the wave. Firefrost is going for auto attack trades into the Q trades as well, while Stixay focuses mostly on the minions.
Yep. Also want to point out, of course, it is heal exhaust. You don't need flash when you're untargetable for 85% of the game, so that is also one thing to point out. I have seen Ignite a fair bit in solo queue as well, but it's the less aggressive version where it's actually about healing for the Sivir. This is, of course, TP on Sivir, so she's going to be really focused on staying up in the lane, keeping the farm going, and now, Jarvan.
That's what we were looking for, some jungle action early. Rakan can go for the all-in engage. Soon as Amazing just wraps around. It is a push-up wave. They are very far forward. Will Aphromoo move?
Okay, there's the spot. If they can get out of the way into Aphromoo. Nice flash gets away from Amazing, and that is Summon a Spell down, though worthwhile gank.
Yeah, definitely time efficient. Bang also didn't have to lose too much CS at the turret. That's one of the drawbacks sometimes of ganking a super pushed up lane. If you fully commit for it, then your AD ends up losing CS in exchange. But in this case, it's just Amazing going in. Gets a very valuable flash, the only one of the lane. Off of Stixxay, and already you can see the change in how you have to play the lane. There's no flash. You also have no vision this early on in the game. So they're going to have to respect it, back off the wave.
Makes it scary. So we look now at the mid lane right here as Power View battles with his opposing member in Soligo. Now in the top lane is Ruin with the quasi-counter pick. There's an expectation that Rumble's top, not a guarantee, and puts in the Kennen, gets the Custom-Mancy, and is doing pretty okay up there, but it's pretty equal in farm. This is a Rumble who's been able to farm so far.
Alright, first recall for Amazing is going to find him on top side since he did the red clear here. Challenging Smite has been picked up. He showed bot, so there was a little bit of counter jungling as Wiggly was able to get one extra camp. That means that Wiggly has more to farm.
Bottom side. Jukes away from the knockup, but Stixxay is out of mana, pushed down a little bit. That was a pretty good all-in.
Yep.
And Stixxay is going to have a hard time laning now. Gets to knock down a couple of minions. Under turret, they should not be dove. They already knew that they saw Jarvan top.
Yeah, Stixxay's going to get some mana back here too off the level up. Maybe he can clear out this wave. Bang. So much damage to this turret. They get a plate by themselves. Very good for the 100 Thieves duo. Denying a decent amount of the CS and finding a effective route onto Stixxay.
Just pull back as well. Of course, Stixxay can still burn his own teleport. We know that his flash was burned by the Jarvan gank from earlier, and he's going to go right back in. Actual money is going to put him at enough for a pickaxe, so he'll be reasonable here. Extra potion control ward comes in and won't miss more than, I think, maybe 2 minions.
Yeah, definitely good for the 100 Thieves duo to be able to push up so they can walk back during the timing window of the teleport. Usually your teleport can really desync that and give the extra advantage over to the Sivir side. But they push it up fairly quickly and are already walking back, so should be able to make it down there pretty quickly.
Yeah, better recall for Bang as well. Of course, 10 more CDR by having Warhammer instead. So that's actually pretty solid. Yuumi, of course, getting to cheat back in by just using you and me and, piggybacking the teleport.
Very curious to see, again, if we have repeated ganks from Amazing on the bottom side. It's a very effective flash to burn, as you could already see the instant results where how you have to play the lane. Sivir has to play more cautiously. Balfrost cannot harass as much because Yuumi definitely is very vulnerable when her AD carry doesn't have flash. However, they also call Wiggly down. And this defensive vision that we've seen just now placed in the minimap by CLG is a very good answer. All these three trying to defend against the Jarvan on your map now. You're able to see the Jarvan and force Amazing back into his own territory.
Quick flag and drag away. Has mana regen as long as he's in the river or his jungle, so that's going to be just fine. Once again, found though. This time it's on cooldown. Going to find some decent damage towards him. Has not available, but is there a squad around? Nice equalizer, buys a bit of space. Now Kiwi looking for the play. Flashes away from an ult that doesn't come in just yet. Ruin going by as well. They're really going far and Amazing. Trying to live, gets hit a little bit. One more auto attack and first blood goes to Power of Evil.
Amazing just assumes that the Sejuani is gone since he saw him exit into the brush and has left, but Wiggly stays around with eyes on the prize. He finds the engage on the Jarvan, and CLG first blood on the top part of the map. This is also opening up bottom side since they know that the jungler's gone. Yeah, so he chases him in here. He's got no vision of Power of Evil. Orianna gets the first walk over. Amazing thought he was safe because Someday on Rumble was in the river, but both solo laners hard commit to this chase. Power of Evil and Ruin run straight past their counterparts to get the autos off necessary. And it is the last Orianna auto in the air that finds that kill and is able to set up first blood for Orianna with the 10 CS lead too.
Control ward, Biofrost plus 30 gold into that one. Gets hit by Aphromoo, but it's a pretty reasonable trade right there. Is they're going to just trade the vision regardless. Some quick wave clear from Stixxay, but yeah, Aphro's going to feel safe doing all of this. And that's now a darkened river. We have a 1,400 gold difference in this game, though. This is pretty substantial. Looking for who the actual leads are, and it's Hard to tell. It's just
A lot
kind
of
of
top,
spread
a lot
apart.
of top,
Yeah, top lane's
as
a
well
fair
as
bit of
mid.
it.
It's a lot of these solo laners and
It's
jungle.
Kleptomancy being a lot of it because the farm difference is only 4 CS, but that obviously that first blood means half of it, and that's good stuff out of CLG.
Yeah, definitely looking good for the top part of the map. Rumble Ultimate was also used. So not only did the first blood go over, Flash is blown from the jungler, but Rumble Ultimate's down, meaning that the Ruin and Ultimate Flash is a lot less punishable until you get that cooldown back. So now he might be able to look for it. Amazing's bottom side, though, has been able to get behind the vision line of CLG. Let's see if this actually converts into a kill. Blast Cone, was that taken over? Nope. It's going to call off the play.
Yep.
Goes into the Dragon Pit to clear out some vision instead.
Scar's Bloom popped by Azir, sees the board. Says, okay, we'll do that instead. You know what? Maybe we can go Infernal off this if our duo can keep pushing. Does pull them over. They can fight for ward at the very least, but Wiggly's nearby. Does have Volt, pops it, gets the first stun. Here comes the rest of it. They're going to have it. Final chapter sets it up. Wiggly on the board now for his first kill.
Wiggly, back-to-back plays here. No hesitation from the CLG jungler. Sees them going to try and clear the ward. Immediately nails Aphromoo with the ultimate. And that stun duration is long enough for Yuumi to get 3 charges off of the ultimate. If you hit 3 waves, that roots you, and that is a dead Rakan.
Plenty of damage up with their hits, but it's the entire thing. 280 max damage on a single target. Pretty good for rank 1 ultimate.
Yeah, take a look at this. On the control ward, he knows that he's out of vision, so Aphromoo doesn't really have any time to react to that. You can only see the projectile right as it crests the little wall there, so he's not able to flash out. And with that one landing, all the follow-up damage comes through.
Beautiful stuff right there. Hits the 3 waves. 1.75 second root and in a good spot. So, Infernal still going to be answered by 100 Thieves. They're trying for this one. They've got enough ward control that Wiggly would have to kind of...
He's got flash. He could flash.
Yeah. Q over, flash out.
It's a bit risky.
Yep. They decided they're not going to take the risk right there. So, you have a gold lead to CLG, and it's a pretty good one at that. That's actually pretty solid. But Infernal Drake's going to answer that somewhat. Maybe about a third of the difference is shortened there, but this is CLG off to a pretty good start. And Wiggly, you mentioned he was one of the newer additions to CLG. This is his, I believe, second split with the squad, and this is a very good start in this game. He is the reason that CLG is winning largely.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are looking for him to be active, and he has not shown any hesitation on the stage in summer. Definitely paid out for CLG so far. Getting Power of Evil, a nice and healthy lead for himself with that first blood chase, as well as the CS here for himself. Ruin on the top side, though, for some Someday.
Yeah, really big hits there. Actually got an empowered melee.
Oh, they're going for the dive.
This can be really big. Feather Call is gone as well. There's going to be a lot of CCs rooted. He's taking 1 million damage, and Stixley on the board now as well. 3 assists in for Wiggly. Criminalization is there, but now a 2-on-1 for Power of Evil. He's going to have a hard time dealing with this one. Does go down. Amazing shows up for the kill just to make sure it happens.
You see that a lot of times. People are hesitant to run past the tower out with the rest of the team, but BOE taking that route back towards the mid lane with no flash cost him his life. Stick with the team after your play. Even a successful play, a lot of people just start to forget about the rest of the members on the map.
Yep.
And CLG give one back. That is big for the side of 100 Thieves. Unfortunately for them, actually, the kill credit went to Amazing, the Jarvan, not the biggest. Let's take another look at how it started out, though. And this is a huge setup once again onto Aphromoo. They find the Yuumi route to start it all out this time. And Power of Evil, nobody wanted to stick around at the turret, or maybe there wasn't communication. Yeah. Hey, take a turret shot, 1 turret shot for me to get me a safe path out. And he has to walk back through the rotation. On top side, Someday gets teleported on.
Couple ults burn up for the top side. Flash again, looking for the stun, does get that one there. So Stixley looking for the slow through the Yuumi and can't find that one. So safety for Someday. And it will be the Herald picked up now, 100 Thieves, right in the face of Wiggly.
Oh my
Is he going to make this happen? Does have the smite. It's going to go to Amazing, but now he's going to go right in. Rooted in place, has reinforcements though, finds a stun. Now Amazing's in a bad spot, has to flash his way out as well.
Wow, teleport used on top side, roams for the top side for CLG. And a little bit of sleight of hand here. Fun 100 Thieves, they steal away the Rift Herald while that play is happening. Can they get the reset off? CLG trying to get some turret plate money in answer.
Looking for it right now. The 2-on-2 feels fairly close, but SSB for done for 6 days is a pretty big deal. Gonna find a bit more of a slow. Not meaning a lot towards the turret, though. Looks like these 2 marksmen will be able to split farm without too much issue. A bit more towards Bang. Can't find the Q over the top.
Yeah, you can see the combo, though. It's the same idea as the Ezreal Yuumi that we talked about. Yuumi gets the slow, then the Boomerang Blade tries to go out to answer up, but they missed it, I think,
Yeah, Bang dodged 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 times in a row here. Aframu and Bang doing a good job of splitting and then being able to get out of the way.
It's been pretty well played. So the wave's still being pushed in though, and that's part of why he went Doran Shield at the very beginning of the game. And once again, gonna find some Afro. Nice jumps. Tanks the first one, jumps right back out. So yeah, 100 Thieves are playing the matchup out pretty well, but with all the extra help that the CLG duo has been getting, that's 100 Thieves down in farm and down in pressure.
Meanwhile, mid lane, Power of Evil still with a very healthy CS lead here on the Orianna. Has both summoners back. Farming away. I'm most curious about where 100 Thieves are going to try and use this Rift Herald, because there's only 20 seconds left on the turret plates. Amazing has yet to pop it, so I don't think they're going to have an opening to get the big cash in on the Rift Herald activation. And it's just going to be for turret damage rather than turret plate money. Ruin gets heavily chunked by Someday.
This is big damage right there. Finds another slow. The ult on top, and this is going to be a solo kill. Someday is back in action a day early, and now some damage across the top. Big damage in Final Chapter, forcing them to push right back out, but here comes the rest of the squad. Here's the projectile. That's a slow. The flash in for a bit more, and bang! He's going to try to run, but what else does he have? He's got a root. Oh, ball, but it's a clockwork wind up, a single auto attack that knocks him down. The turret will fall bot lane. There's still pressure on both sides of the map, but it's still CLG so far ahead. 3,500 gold.
Yeah, CLG make the big play on top side, but because there's Rift Herald, you actually get 2 turrets for 1. Well, they're not sticking around for number 2, actually. Just doing the Krugs instead and getting the recall off rather than finishing turret number 2 with the Rift Herald. So, in the end, huge victory for CLG there as they found the big kills on top side with the rotation for Power of Evil and Wiggly going up to supplement that Stixxay Biofrost 2v2. Here's another look at Ruin. New guy on the roster for CLG. Against Someday, he lands every harpoon, I believe. Yeah, he's able to get the burn from the Flame Floor off of those flows, and then the Rumble Ultimate burns it down long enough, even though he gets stunned up. He's got his Flamethrower pointed in the right direction, and the Yuumi Ultimate, he lands every single wave of it here, gets the double root, gets the 100% of the damage, also buys enough time for Wiggly and Power of Evil to roam all the way up. Even with the flash, the slow with the chilling smite allows him to get into range, and Power of Evil with the heal under tower. Very same area, a single auto attack from Orianna finds another kill for himself.
Ooh, nice super there, gets away from that first big stun. And the quick heal goes over to Wiggly. It's CLG looking to fight over the bottom river. They are by all rights ahead right now. They got extra vision now as well. A quick heal on the killer of Scuttlecrab. They say this is our river, this is our Drake. 100 Thieves seem to agree. They're going to push in mid instead.
Yeah, gonna try and rush down this tower here. Let's see if they can get it. Orianna would be the only one to defend. They pull off of the push. Dragon then picked up, and now they have to be a little bit careful. They hesitated on that mid lane push. Nobody else able to add any damage, so it is a full victory by CLG here.
Yeah.
Complete control of the map, and they've even been able to clear out almost all of the control wards. There's just that one left in the topside river, but the defenses are quickly being weakened on the side of 100 Thieves.
And I like actually to see this out of Biofrost. Now, Athenes is not an unsurprising pickup here at all, but to actually be building towards ability power items in this champion, Athenes then into usually the Ardent Sensor next is, I think, the most typical build. But is this actually a champion who has really good AP ratio, scales up AP quite a lot, and actually gets extra damage out of a build like this for further Q poke and further being a threat?
And is already a super annoying sustained champion. You talked about the heal summoner spell collection, the Zoomies charges, with also the Athenes, like it's an incredible amount of sustain for a Sivir, which is such a powerhouse in the late game 5-on-5. That's already difficult to take down with the spell shield. With this attachment here, it's going to be incredibly difficult for 100 Thieves, and you have to see a super good engage from Aframu into an ultimate from Someday. That combination to try and have a chance in the later game 5-on-5 situations. Amazing on the Jarvan can really help them with a Cataclysm, but it's getting bullied out right now and chunked down. You can see CLG are just on the warpath.
Yep. Biofrost has done more damage with Comet than Someday has with the same keystone right there. So certainly has been getting a lot done. And we wait to see what happens next. 4,000 gold still separates these teams. A very large lead early this thing. They find a stun, and Amazing is gone right away. The ult barely does anything against them. That equalizer does nothing at all. And look at this, the wave being cleared mid lane under fire.
Yeah, definitely walking into that one. No vision in the brush. Wiggly lands the easy ultimate. That is a kill for CLG, and pressure across the top side of the map. Mid gets pushed in, and they rotate up to that turret.
They find a slow, they might find a stun as well. It's a flash over the wall, Sony barely staying alive, but look at this. It is CLG in control of everything.
Last split, CLG had one of the slowest average game times. This game is just a steamroll. We're only 18.5 minutes ahead, and they already have full control of the top half of the map. Turret is down. Large lead accruing here, and they are not stopping. This Yuumi pick especially is working out.
Beautiful stuff right now, and the turret's still going to stay at half HP. These extra turrets will not fall just yet, but it is kind of Gaming stealing away a red buff, and the scuttles and everything else as well. They are certainly doing great right now. Looking to reverse their fate from last year, and
there we go.
Even this split as well, the spring one, and looking at the 2-on-1 towards Someday. He is ultless, flashless as well. They're going to have a shockwave, an extra stun on top of it, and Amazing might try to help, but what's he going to do? His teammate's already dead, Flag and drags away.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do. Full tank Jarvan. Just going to watch him go down. 2v1 there on the top side. Power of Evil gets the kill again. That is 3 for Orianna now. Fairly large bounty on his head. Aphromoo actually running through enemy lines here. Biofrost, I think he got a vision of him, but Rune doesn't want to actually commit to it, and CLG will take the damage on mid.
And let's see if they can knock more of this one down. Bang is here to help wave clear. You can see Stixay wanting to play a bit safe, has to be respectful, but now Sligo gonna ult back Ruin and buy a bit of space. Trades ult for ult, Blast going away.
Yeah, Q not landing means there's not going to be a stun coming through, so no further commitment here. Cleanse is available as well for Sligo, so it probably was just going to be Summoner Spell Burn at best.
Yeah.
Wiggly, though, looking for Amazing once again. This guy has been the story of the game. Sejuani completely opening up opportunities for the entire team. Rush control has resulted in map control.
Definitely agree with this one. This has been CLG pretty much from minute 3 in the lead here overall. There was a small landing phase lead with the 100 Thieves duo, which is heartening for their fans, but otherwise, this has been all CLG all the time. Just only glimmers of 100 Thieves doing something decent here as mid lane is knocked away again, and Legal will rely on his ascended turret to keep that one under a bit of control. Grabs the blue, blocks right back over.
All right, let's see if they can scale for late game here, because that is really the only option left to 100 Thieves. They have some backline possibilities, you know, with the Azir, with the Xayah. Rumble is really the one that's going to be the determining factor if they can handle any of these mid-game team fights, but it has to be with a defensive look. Otherwise, CLG already have so much power with a level 11 now on Wiggly as well. They can really pull the trigger on the initiation that they want. Just Sivir ultimate and Sejuani goes in to set it up for the Kennen. So they really have to be moving around the map away from CLG to try and trade objectives rather than fight over objectives and then defensively hug their towers.
Magic been picked up now for Ruin. Team fight damage comes in, but really only the Void Staff is effective against Jarvan. No one else is really building much MR, but as they move around the map, Hunter Thieves able to pick up this top lane outer turret. Infernal probably better at this stage of the game, though. It's looking ahead. Look for the stun act. We're going to find Sligo. Actually, burns the flash instead of cleanse, which maybe he would have still had to care about the slows, but regardless, mid lane tier 2 is going to fall, and CLG continue to get more outside of these map plays as the dual lane must now recall a bit later and arrive late to the play.
Yep, tower down again. CLG actually pulling Stixay over. Baron pings already. Even with the Scuttle Crab taken by 100 Thieves, I don't think you need to do that. I mean, the game is at a very quick pace, but no reason for CLG to risk something like that with the lead that they have right now. Okay, so there were just pings, maybe a couple of wards or something getting cleared out rather than actually forcing it. Reset will occur, and they can use all of that money now to convert into items. As you can see, Redemption picked up. Okay. That's huge teamfight boost there for Biofrost, and 2 items for all their carries mostly.
Yeah, pretty big right now. CLG is in a really good spot. A lot of their important purchases have come through. Wiggly happy to face tank when his passive is still up. Gets the quick shield and heal, and Evie goes back over to her favorite carry in Stixay.
The heal from Yuumi, Zoomies, by the way, is a a large part missing health percentage. So
Yeah, amped based on how hurt you are.
exactly. So much more valuable on people who sustain a lot of poke. So it's that fine line that you juggle, getting super high value on low health targets versus not letting them get low enough to be executed.
Yeah, of kind of interest to me is the AP ratio scales harder with missing health than the base heal does, so it actually is more of a save me tool late game and really spikes up there. So just kind of random fun Yuumi facts, and since it's my first time casting Yuumi, I get to kind of just rattle them off.
Glad you're having fun.
I am. This is actually pretty cool.
I think Biofrost is having fun too.
Yeah, he's doing great.
He's been able to constantly play offensive, throwing out the poke. He's landed most waves of the ultimate too that I've seen. This is probably the highest percentage of Yuumi waves I've seen land.
Sure.
Usually it's more difficult to keep people in place, but there's so much other CC on the team to set up as well that CLG have really been using it to full effectiveness. And I feel like right now it's going to be no different. They've got brush control once again. It's dangerous for 100 Thieves just dropping control wards around here to try and get some sort of vision for themselves, but CLG have an iron grip around Baron.
Yeah, they do. There's at least a decent power click for Soligo. He's got double flat cleanse plus the Nasher's Tooth, so it's a pretty decent team fight here for him. Also with Leandry's done for some, that's actually pretty useful as well. So there's something to be said, but Bang gonna be slowed. So a bit of sidestep the Boomerang Blade, and he'll be fine, but it's still CLG walking all the way through this jungle. Look at the vision, and it is just darkness. There is nothing in this jungle for 100 Thieves. They are pushed all the way out of their own jungle, and if at some point CLG want to start Baron, that's going to be unknown.
Yeah, I mean, you can see what they're doing right now. They're pushing up the two waves. Mid lane got pushed, top side got pushed, and then they pull back onto the Baron here to start it. Wow, 100 Thieves are dealing with those minions. They don't have much damage over there. They actually did not commit Power of Evil, so the damage threat wasn't very quick.
Yeah. They baited out double trinket, Wiggly healing back up a little bit there with the honey fruit, and now here comes the hard engage looking for a slow. They're gonna find Rumble, they're gonna find the all-in, a stun towards the back line, and Bang gets up in the air. This time they will disengage, 100 Thieves stay alive. 3 ults burned on CLG's side, but Ruin and PoE still have theirs. PoE though is out of mana. He is gonna be unable to participate, so he's got a recall here.
Yeah, I wonder if during this reset, at least they're getting the reset out of vision of 100 Thieves, because now they're leaving behind a lot of valuable vision around Baron, and 100 Thieves can move in during the reset to try and get themselves an opening and take care of that. Aphromoo on the Rakan is a great subject to try and go take out those wards. He can easily jump over the walls and has a lot of mobility to escape. So all the wards cleared out. That is a very big opening for 100 Thieves, you know, to try and buy themselves a little bit of defensive options here to alert themselves when CLG actually try and start it up once again.
All right, well, Biofrost knocks down one of the wards, puts his control ward down, but this time doesn't actually sweep out all of the pit. Wiggly will have to do those honors, but that's the rest of the vision removal until they can get a control ward down. So it's going to be a little while. CLG don't get own this pit or that top jungle. Starts with mid push. Soligo answers that one. The 100 Thieves have gotten enough vision back that they are not afraid of Baron anymore. So that was actually pretty good movement around the map. They have stopped this. They have slowed this down.
Yeah, one of the biggest objectives in the mid game after winning a team fight is moving over, clearing out all the control wards, you know, for the consecutive setup here. So very big that 100 Thieves didn't drop anyone in that team fight, and they're able to move in to get that during the reset from CLG, who in the early stages, game going at such a quick pace, really pushing it. Now they're going to get the Cloud Drake pretty much without any contest from 100 Thieves, who are pinned down to the Baron here. Can't really leave it around, and Stixay will just pick it up himself.
Cloud Drake pick up, no big problem there. Double Cloud means move speed and get back and forth between mid lane, Baron pit, wherever else they want to go. After knocks on a control ward, mid lane pressure going back and forth here. Wave still cleared first by CLG, but Wiggly chasing down Aphromoo, pushing them out. Amazing waiting in the wings. Can they find an engage here? No, he's going to be going defensively.
Yeah, there's no damage behind him. You can see the recalls going off for CLG, so all of his teammates looking for the reset. I believe there must be some big item completions. Infinity Edge here.
That's big.
For Stixay. He's got 3 item Sivir. This is fully online. That is your AoE teamfight crits. That is going to be extremely difficult for 100 Thieves to deal with. They have to start a fight on someone and finish it very quickly before the DPS from Stiver can take effect.
And the same recall was Death Cap for Power of Evil. So both those giant carries got their single largest power spikes of the game. So certainly very difficult right now. But 100 Thieves might have found their opening. Looking for the play. They go for Saligo. Does find one flash to the walls. Wiggly, he's going to stay alive. Another re-engage is beautiful. They find that crit. And CLG knocked down the mid laner. That goes right into Baron.
That was a 5v4. 100 Thieves now forced with the situation. Baron started up. Ruin's pushing bottom. Does have teleport. No vision on it. And they're quickly losing vision. No control ward left.
It is a flashless Jarvan. Redemption keeps the health bars alive on CLG's side. And at what point does 100 Thieves go for the attempt? The TP in for the Kennen now as well, but no one is marking Jarvan. No one's pushing him out of the pit just yet. It's PoE who walks forward, but if anything goes farther and farther away, he gets to make the play. To the flash in for Ruin. They try to burn him down, and they will do so. The smite should begin, and it is. Another kill picked up, and now Ruin's got to be a bit careful. He needs the reinforcements, and they are now here, looking for Sunday, and this is a flashless Rumble. He will die to the Shockwave, and CLG find 3 kills plus the Baron.
That was a great screen there from Ruin. On the cannon, jumps over to stun up, amazing. Removes the chance of 100 Thieves smite steal. That means Baroned up CLG with all of their power spikes. 3 items on both carries. Annihilate the turrets.
Beautiful stuff right there. 10-2 in kills and a 9,000 gold lead with 2 members still dead. They push him to the top lane. They've got a lot of damage here. Demolish could knock the turret down. The way for auto attacks now instead. Looking for the roots, they find 1. And that could be enough to push away after him. He still gets away in time. Inhib falls, and before Sunday can even spawn, CLG are right back out the way they came in.
Yep, 3,500 gold lead already with the Baron buff, and that one just started. I think that play is probably going to be their ticket through to the Nexus. Let's take another look. You can tell Ruin, as soon as he caught sight of Amazing, immediately beeline straight for him. There's no way Amazing can get in there. Rumble Ultimate by Someday was used onto the Baron, but because that is consistent damage over time and not burst damage, it's very, very unlikely that steals Baron unless there's a big mistake from Wiggly. So CLG happily pick up the Baron buff after their extra kill and are able to now push it in. Top side has already been dealt with, so bottom side is the next target. And they are looking to start off summer with a victory.
This is looking very good. CLG convincing. Only 30 minutes in, and they are doing great things. 10k up. Baron still on for a minute 45. With their nip down, there's a chance they can win during this buff. And we'll see what they can do with this one. Bottom lane tier 2 under fire. No one should really defend this one. Bang. Presses Q. Doesn't even hit a minion. They're waiting to stack up more of the waves so that mid can crash the same time as the bottom lane. And here it goes. A 2-pronged attack right now as top will also flood in a second afterwards. Not yet as slow as Saligo, but you can still see these attacks coming through. CLG going to move over to left-hand side as there are minions tanking up those aggro shots, but they will still play defensively. Mid lane down to half HP. Bot lane looking for a slow. They're going to find that one. Big damage on Bang. That is a good boomerang there as well. Stixay back up the full HP with the heal. Another slow on, and Afromu really chunked out right there. That poke is menacing, and CLG take control of this one. Looking for another slow, pushing off 100 Thieves even further. And they're going to crack these inhibitors now. Bot lane is gone. Mid lane only has Amazing. He's by himself. He ults PoE to do what at all? He didn't have a team around him. That was the opposite of what his name says it is. And that is the inhibitors dropping. CLG still 45 seconds of Baron and an easy 5v4 to push in. This should be the Nexus. The turret's in front of them as the waves are getting cleared down. They're going to take their time. Ruin's going to grab another wave. They're going to push through top lane soon. Still attacks coming through. Still turrets falling. 31-30. One turret is gone. Somebody in the front line does have an ulti, but will there be any kind of an engage? Azir summons one. Will there even be defense? Second turret's going to fall. 100 Thieves still not fighting for their own structures. They're just simply walking back and letting it all fall. Still a bit directionless. A single knockup, but it means nothing. Ruin the back line. Sunday tries for one. They only get a single kill in the fountain. It is CLG walking all over 100 Thieves.
Complete domination from CLG from start to finish. Yep. They got Yuumi on display in the bottom lane. Biofrost definitely having fun with that one. A lot of high value ultimates. Yep. And then Wiggly with the brush control on that Sejuani. No hesitation, immediate engages, and CLG take that early lead to the Nexus.
CLG absolutely the better team here, and we talk about roster changes and which ones you believe and which ones you don't. I was happy with Ruin. He held up against Someday. That's a good mark to me.
Good Baron screen, good communication with your team. That's what you're looking for on day one.
The flash ult cannon over the wall, that was exactly the right play. That was smart. That was heads up. Amazing. The opposite for me. I thought there were a lot of huge mistakes out of him. His first blood was very silly. That endgame team fight, yeah, okay, they're down 10,000 gold. Maybe it doesn't matter, but that was a very silly engage to go for. Didn't even flash with his own Cataclysm. It was mechanically as well as decision-making a fairly lackluster play. So that's a rough one. 100 Thieves. It's only one game, but it's so disheartening to see that kind of result.
Yeah, I think the reason you're feeling that way is because of last split, right? So
Yeah.
you have it kind of rolling into this split
Yeah,
already.
it's like still more of the same.
Yeah, but they did make changes, and we'll continue to monitor throughout this split to see how they fare.
Yep, 17 more to play for both these squads. We'll see what it looks like, and now we're going to send it down to Riv, standing by with Biofrost for an interview.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Great cast on the day. And yes, a victory for Counterlogic Gaming over 100 Thieves to start the summer split. Biofrost, I have to ask you, teams love to start and test the waters in the beginning of the season. Your team chooses Yuumi as it's finally up. We all know she's very good. Why is this good for Counterlogic Gaming?
For Yuumi?
Yeah.
I think Yumi's really, really broken. If she gets ahead, she pretty much just destroys every lane. I think the only issue of Yuumi is that if you get behind, it's really hard to come back because she doesn't have like good comeback material, but she's insanely broken.
So what you're saying is we're probably going to see more Yuumi?
Probably.
All right, and looking at what happened, changes happen every season. This one for CLG, a big change, which actually makes you and Stixay the longest standing members on the team now. Talk to me a little bit about both Darshan leaving the team for Counterlogic Gaming and now slotting Ruin into that top lane and how everything's impacted the org.
Yeah, I think when people look at CLG, they don't see any of the long-standing members anymore. Like before we had Darshan, and now Afromu's also gone. So it's like kind of weird to think that me and Stixay are like the longest standing members of CLG. So now we have Ruin. He's like a really calm guy. Like in team fights, when we're just going on someone, he's like, I'm going. And it's like really different from Darshan because when Darshan kills someone, like you can even see in the player cams, he's just like popping off. So it's definitely different.
Do you feel like it's going to be a play style that CLG can work off of? Is there a new dynamic that CLG is going to bring to the table for this summer? Final question.
Yeah, I think our identity right now is that we play off of like strong lanes and off of lane prow. I don't really think that we have like a specific thing that we're just going for every game, but we're also like identifying our own strategy. We went to Korea for a boot camp and we got to play against like a lot of good teams. So we got a lot of strategies from them as well.
Well, one win, hope for the fans. We'll see what happens throughout the rest of the season. Congrats on the win. We're going to throw it to the State Farm analyst desk to break down that game.
Thank you very much, Riv. Big victory here for CLG over 100 Thieves. Again, bringing in Ruin from the TCL. And of course, we got the first Yuumi, as was mentioned. And it was another utter smash here for the side of CLG.
Business as usual, continuing to take advantage of Stixay and Biofrost's synergy in the bottom lane against bottom lane 100 Thieves that has yet to find their footing.
I think I really like what I saw out of this comp. The Sivir speed up with the Orianna. She's still a good mid to late game team fighter, but she can spike on 2 items depending on the build path that you go. So I like that combination, as well as a strong top side of the map. That team fights very well. Pretty magic damage heavy, but all things considered, it's still a really strong composition. On the flip side, for 100 Thieves, they're going for the Azir again. The Rumble is kind of a surprise for Someday. Like, I know he has a decent Rumble, but it felt like I would have rather seen something with a little more agency and less all in on team fight. But you have to scale to get there first.
A little bit of disaster, rather, on the side of 100 Thieves. But as was mentioned by Biofrost, Yuumi, he feels, is quite a broken champion. We just got our first look of Yuumi here in the LCS. So let's roll through some of her highlights in the POV.
So this is just a really nice chain of crowd control because Afro can't dodge out of the Sejuani ultimate and then immediately gets changed into the Yuumi ultimate. And this again is another play into the bottom lane. Look at what she does. Immediately gets the poke onto Bang, and then surprise, everybody else is here for the party, locks down Afro, and he's actually the only one that ends up going down. His Power of Evil then gets collapsed on, but those are just minor things for COG. Their game was completely in their hands.
Yeah, I mean, there was one early gank that forced him to blow Summoner. If it would teleport that the AD carry is often taking in that lane, you bounce back from ganks pretty easily, and then you have this really extended chase down power with how long range that Q is.
Yeah.
And so I think, you know, like Firefrost was saying, you'll probably see a lot more Yumi. She's pretty strong, and like, the thing you need to realize, people are not playing perfectly with her yet. People are still learning the champion. She is fairly complex, despite the Twitch, Reddit kind of meme of like, hey, you sit on a champion, you attach and you AFK. It's like, no, you don't.
Let me remind you that when Thresh and Tom Cantrell, it took like half a year for people to think that they were not
fully understand.
Just above playable. People thought they were unplayable. They were that bad. And then after a while, you understood why they were so
Just
good.
Aatrox from last year. Everyone was memeing release Aatrox when he got the rework with his Q, and everyone's like, oh, it's garbage champ.
Yeah. But you can really see what Firefrost was talking about, how he feels that when she's ahead, that's when she becomes terrifying. I mean, like most champions ahead, obviously they look good, but with her in particular, from ahead, that harass, the slow coming out, and then comboed with champions like Sivir for the chase down potential is very scary.
And the thing that she should struggle with is like getting vision on her own, doing roams, and kind of contesting vision against another support who can potentially engage on her. Like these kinds of things you always kind of need a second person with, and so when you're not so far ahead, you would assume that these struggles might come out. So this was pretty much the ideal Yumi, debut performance where everything's going in her favor.
Because it's oppressive, right? You're so far ahead, you just shoot out a Q and they can't jump on you because you're ahead, and therefore the poke consistently sticks, and then you can just go in and get the party started. It's a really powerful champ if you can land that skill shot.
Well, that's just our first look. Tune in tomorrow to Countdown where Crumbs will do a full Yumi breakdown for us. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of her in our last 2 games of the day to get some more of a sample size, because it really was just a 1-game sample size here.
Yeah, and that was a sample size that I would not like to try again for 100 Thieves. I want to see them do something different. I know that Amazing just got 1 game, but there were some things in that game that just did not... That did not give me too much,
That's a fresh off the airplane.
No!
Coming from custom.
Flashing in your own Cataclysm and not having a single... I think there are more things that this team could have done. You're a new team, you can experiment. Well, be a little looser and go out with grace.
To your point about what you want to see in the pregame, you're talking about fun. They seem pretty devoid of fun yet again from 100 Thieves. So you wanted to see a little more hey, we're not that well practiced. Maurice is just off the plane. Let's go out and troll around a little bit. The same way you saw the FlyQuest guys laughing in their game, despite it being a hard-fought, close game. You could see there was joy and happiness in the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is 2 very different tales here for teams that struggled in the spring split, made a very pointed change with the idea that this would be all that was needed to unlock whatever potential they see within their rosters. And I think, as Kobe mentioned on the desk, some of what kind of stings and stays with us is the expectation of the 100 Thieves roster from before spring, that they should have been contesting for a top 3 anyway. Then they finish 10th, only make 1 change, and still look to have not improved so much. Again, it's 1-game sample size. No one should condemn this team off of 1 game, but that's what kind of makes it feel bad.
It's true. I do have the aftertaste from spring. However, I think that if you're at any point in the LCS, you're playing and you're not having fun, just take a look at yourself and say, I'm playing video games for a living. You're having a really good time.
Yeah, come on, let's get some smiles on the faces. But for CLG, they've got some big smiles on their faces, I'm sure, as they pick up their first victory of the summer split. Optic Gaming and Clutch square off when we return. If you want to track the jungle pathing between Meteos and Lyra, check out ProView, available at watch.lolesports.com, so you can catch every gank as the pros see them with stats to back it up. Check that out and meet us back here after the break.
Oh wait, I can hear my voice?
Yeah, just a little.
They didn't have that.
You can change.
So weird.
Oh, what? They're really going far and Amazing. Trying to live, gets hit a little bit. One more auto attack, and first blood goes to Power of Evil. Your con's dead.
Ult vault?
No, I don't think so. Okay, he goes right. I got him. Okay, nice. Thieves might have found their opening. Looking for the play. They go for Saligo. Does slide 1 flash to the walls quickly. He's going to stay alive. Another re-engage is beautiful. They find that crit.
Oh, they have to me just only me. I'm gonna send just No.
Nice.
It's GG, guys.
There are multiples on the table. 1 is cash, 3 are FHA, 1 is VA. So what can you do?
She's saying a whole lot of people want to buy this house. But you got this. It can be as simple as push button get mortgage. Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans, America's largest mortgage lender.
Yeah, had a pretty big fender bender here.
State Farm's got you covered, Mike.
That's great to hear, Robin. Everybody remain calm. We have this situation under control. We'll be out of here in a jiffy.
Hello and welcome back for game number 4, where Optic Gaming and Clutch aim to start their summer split with a bang. I'm Clayton Captain Flowers Reigns, and I'm just oh so lucky that I get to start my personal split next to my favorite WoW Arena World Champion in Isaac Azael Cummings Bentley.
Oh, well, we're going to try to start it off with a bang here too, Flowers.
Absolutely, but now let's get back on the topic of League of Legends. We're going to get some things rolling with the starting rosters. On the blue side, it's Clutch Gaming. You've got Hooney in the top lane, Lyra in the jungle, DeMonte at mid, Cody Sun back in the LCS bottom lane, Vulcan on support, and Coach McScray.
And selecting red side for this matchup, their opponents today are going to be Optic Gaming. In the top lane, Dokla. In the jungle, Meteos. Mid laner, Crown. Bot and support going to be Arrow and Big, with coaches Zabutin and Croissant.
Now, while Optic didn't come into this split with some crazy roster moves, Azael, you mentioned that really wasn't the issue you saw with this team in spring.
Yeah, I don't think it was an issue of individual talent. It was the mid and jungle already performing very well, but I think the cohesion among the team was not really there. They weren't always on the same page, both in game, but also in draft, where a lot of times they were drafting these carries in these split push win conditions for Dokla, and then never really playing to that side of the map, which is just not how you get that type of lane ahead.
Right, you got to be able to look out for those conditions. And while Clutch returns with a change in the bottom lane, with Cody Sun making his LCS return here today.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited actually to see Cody Sun back in the LCS. It's been a while, and people are kind of quick to forget that he made it to Worlds both the years that he did play in the LCS. He was in finals back-to-back, and he has been, throughout his career, a very solid team fighting AD carry, right? This allows you to have a lane where maybe you don't have to play so much to the bottom side of the map. Piglet was very aggressive. Cody Sun is more of that defensive laner, and this could allow them to focus more heavily on playing up to the top side of the map where Hooney wants to run wild.
And sometimes a lot of fans will look back and they'll remember some of the moments where Cody did not do what fans were hoping for him to do at the world stage, having some falters there. But at the same time, this is a player who was in the conversation at one point for the All-Pro NALCS team. He does put up very impressive stats. You can rely on him to be that cannon that you want an AD carry to be in the late game. And if you remember, for those of you watching at home, when we watched Clutch last split, their big wins always came from having this triple threat of having Piglet on something like an Irelia in the bottom. Like the standard AD carry strategies just were not working. And to be able to fall back to that could be a big thing here for Clutch.
Yeah, it certainly could. And when I think back to how Cody Sun was having success with 100 Thieves back in the past, it was very much so this top laner who was buying time for them in some day to get to the late game team fight stage, and then their team fighting was excellent. And I do think that's the kind of strategy that Clutch is going to be looking to try to replicate. Have Hooney applying pressure, have Hooney buying time for your bottom mid lane to be scaling up, and playing more heavily to that top side of the map until you can go into the 5v5 team fight phase where you can start to really rely on Cody.
And although both these teams, towards the end of Spring Split, were not doing phenomenally, neither of them ended Spring Split in a way that they're going to put in the record books. Remember that at the beginning of Spring, Clutch started out 2-0 in week 1. They had a rough few weeks after that, but they did manage to come out of the gate swinging. And I think each new split, no matter how much you may not have hit the mark you wanted to previously, it's important to always remember the slate is now wiped clean. Nothing that happened in spring matters now. Your record is 0-0, and this is your opportunity to come in and start things off right.
And let's be honest, it's not like, the 4-5-6 was incredibly dominant and unassailable. Yes, there is this top 3 kind of echelon of teams that most people are thinking, all right, that'll be really hard to break into. But there was only one other team beyond the top 3 that was over 500 in the league, and that was sitting at 10-9. 5 and 6 were both below 500. This is not some, monumental record that these teams cannot achieve. Optic was only a couple games back, Clutch a couple games behind them, but certainly with some changes that they have made, with some improvements in their play, these are teams that could theoretically be rising up to take those playoff spots.
And as we play through the regular split and you have the double round robin, everybody plays against every other team twice, strength of schedule is always something that we have to keep in mind, and it is early to mention it in just week 1, but it's also important to note that momentum is a very real thing, and having some games against those other teams that were in that cluster around the middle and bottom of the standings with you puts you in a good spot to say, hey, we're going to stand out now. This is our chance to prove ourselves as breaking away from that. And for Clutch and Optic, it all starts here on day 1. We're into Champion Select. Let's see how they break it down. It's going to be Irelia and Yuumi banned out by Clutch Gaming. No new champion play here in this one, as Aatrox is banned out by Optic.
And I think it's not even just, about that the early strength of schedule and wanting to get the wins here, but it's about building the confidence for these squads.
Absolutely.
Especially, I do think when you look over at Clutch and when you look over at Huni, I think he is such a confidence-driven player. He is so good when he's on his game, and when he's not, he can look very, very vulnerable. So we'll see if they can kind of start off on the right foot here. And as well for Optic, who have kind of settled, it feels like, on Meteos as their starting jungler, and we'll see how that's going to work out for them.
All right, Tarek banned out by Optic. Tarek's the kind of champion I like to call an appetizer tray, because whenever there's some cheese in League of Legends, he's always the one serving it up. But Optic Gaming is not going to allow anything like a Sona Tarek or any sort of funneling strategy with Tarek to be prevalent here, as Clutch will remove the Rise.
Yeah, there has been kind of a lot of whispering about funnel strategies coming out. We did actually see one come out yesterday in Academy. Pacers was telling me about this whole strategy where they were playing Leona Corki and doing a funnel there. I have heard about a number of other funnel strategies. It doesn't seem to be the kind of prevailing strategy these days, but it is certainly an option, and some of the teams are going to be somewhat worried about it.
Well, the final ban of the first phase here is going to be the Sylas that we've seen have such an incredible presence since the champion's release. We know how effective he is as a flex pick, saw a ton of that at MSI, but we will not be seeing him here this game. Clutch decides, hey, the first thing we want to go for is one of those power laners, picking up the Jace, round 1.
Yeah, grabbing that Jace very likely would be going to Huni, but we still could see Demonte playing that. It wasn't something that he did play at all in spring, but certainly has the ability to be flexed. I do think we actually had, Lyra played Jace once in spring as well, so there is, the ability of flexing that to jungle. Certainly not the most likely of scenarios, but I do think grabbing that Jace early on makes a lot of sense for Clutch. They want to play aggressively through top lane. Huni wants to look for lane dominance.
Over on the side of Optic, looks like they're looking at the other end of the map here to start things off. They'll go ahead, grab the Xayah there for Arrow, and it looks like Nautilus probably for Big. We do see this champion most often in the support role. Remember, there is flex opportunity for it. It's not 100% locked into support, but that is the most common option.
It definitely is, and when you think back to MSI, back in play-ins, we were seeing actually AP Nautilus mid lane a fair bit. So it would be interesting to see if that kind of, popped up here at all in the LCS. Rakan is still open, so if you want to play, a very engage-heavy team, you could be looking for something along those lines. But I do agree, quite likely that it is going to be going down to that bottom lane. And I do think, we had seen a lot of these teams that were, more towards the bottom of the table had the most success when they were playing with easy win conditions, hard engage, multiple forms of engage in front line, and looking for that sort of team fight style. And Nautilus lends itself very well to that.
Well, talking about team fights, Rumble, drafted by Clutch Gaming, a very effective team fighter, especially in the mid game, especially in those tight jungle pockets, if you can force one there. Also going to be picking up Lee Sin here. Clutch will leave both their bottom lane champions for the second half of the draft.
Now this is really interesting because Rumble in solo queue has actually been picking up a lot of steam as a mid laner. It has become quite popular in Challenger and at the highest levels. It's actually one of the highest win rate mid laners in the game right now. That being said, it's a very low play rate, and it was Huni's most played top laner in spring. So this is certainly leading me to believe that this will be a Huni Rumble, that it will be a Demonte Jace, but things could be flexed around dependent upon matchups.
Well, Optic Gaming is going to have a nice beefy front line there. You got your Nautilus, you've got Sejuani, also picked up now for Meteos. We've seen him on this champion plenty of times before. And as we get into the second round of the bans, Optic knows they are looking at those bottom lane picks. What do they want to keep Cody off of? What do they want to keep Vulcan off of? The Sivir is the first thing they're keeping out of Cody's hands.
Yeah, and I think that makes a lot of sense as a takeaway. These are solo laners on the side of Clutch that will draw a lot of jungle attention, that you're going to want to have Lyra playing around. So taking away some of these kind of safe wave clear style bot laners that can be played does make a lot of sense. A Sivir is certainly one of those. Ezreal perhaps another that can play extremely safe down in that bottom lane and doesn't require a lot of attention. But we have also to remember that Rageblade did get some nerfs, so we are seeing crit marksman kind of rise up a little bit more in priority, and as a result, some of these priorities that we've been seeing in the bot lanes may be shifted.
And that's one of the fun things about getting into a new patch, especially after a big international event that goes on for quite a duration. You're playing on that same patch for a while, get to see some new fresh faces, as LeBlanc, Rakan, Sivir, and Kai'Sa are all off the table now. It's over to Optic Gaming to make their fourth pick.
Yeah, so Clutch certainly respecting the fact that this could just be a mid lane Nautilus or even top lane. That is even less kind of consistent in pro play. We have seen it in solo queue certainly though, and the Rakan being taken off the table does show they're a little bit worried about that. Poppy very likely going to be going up to Dokla to deal with this Jace. It is something that can actually trade effectively against Jace in those early levels and have some pressure there. If Puni, is to take that, and if that is going to be the top lane matchup, though, that is something that can get more and more difficult with levels. And you also have to remember, Rumble could be put up against that Poppy, which I find is generally a more difficult matchup for the Poppy.
Yeah, Poppy, we've seen it work into the Jace. You weather the early storm, you get yourself some armor, a Sunfire Cape and an Iceborne Gauntlet if you know you're mostly just going to be on Jace handling duty actually creates a very difficult situation for Jace to need a point where he's at 3 or so items to outscale the tankiness of that Poppy. But over back to Clutch Gaming, it's Varus and Braum locked in for Cody and Vulcan.
Yeah, so that's certainly going to be the bot lane. Optics still doesn't really know for sure exactly where everything will be going, and TF going to be locked in here.
Okay, now the question is, Azael, is it Trinity Force TF or is it traditional AP TF? For those of you who may not be aware, there was a guy posting on Reddit about how he hit #1, I believe it was in EU West, with Trinity Force Twisted Fate over the course of however many games with a 60-something% win rate. It has been the most played TF build that I've seen recently in solo queue games, in just random spectating that I'm doing in the client. So I'm curious if they're going to go with a traditional AP path or if we're going to see the Trinity Force build instead.
Yeah, it would be very interesting, and I do think that type of build lends itself quite well to split pushing. You are obviously getting the Sheen proc that is still going to be working on your W on those stuns. You also have the ability to really knock down turrets quite effectively. Early CDR is going to allow you to get out on that map quite well and be ulting to those side lanes. It's honestly pretty effective. Triforce does give a lot of things that TF does want. That being said, your burst is going to be lower. You do have the additional attack speed and some pretty good sustained damage. There's a lot of things working there, but it is not going to be that full Luden's Lichbane AP kind of one-shot style if he goes that route.
All right, loading into Summoner's Rift here. Clutch Gaming and Optic Gaming both having the opportunity here to start off 1-0, get this split rolling exactly the way they want to. Less than stellar spring, but spring doesn't matter too much. We're in summer now. This is the one that truly counts. This is the one that determines who's going to be making those big runs towards Worlds, towards that big apex of competition here for League of Legends later on in the year. But right now, all they got to worry about is the opponents in front of them. If you look over at Crown, you can see he does have the teleport on the Twisted Fate as well as a Comet. So pretty traditional standard stuff coming out for him there. Doesn't really seem to be anything else here out of the ordinary. Taking a look at Keystones, you can see Cody's son having the lethal tempo on the Varus. Lets us know it's not going to be the on-hit build. Will be the auto attacks. And Lyra with the Conqueror on Lee Sin also means not going for that electrocute style, super gank heavy, super bursty. Instead, better at the dueling. And as the teams prep themselves up here, waiting for the minions to spawn, Ovly is standing by with a side stage interview with Clutch Gaming's coach.
Thanks, Flowers. Mixgreg. A lot of us are excited to see Cody's son return to the Rift and join your team. What is he bringing to your team?
Mainly he's bringing a huge emotional boost to the team. He's obviously a very good player, and he's been playing really well in scrims. And he's just raising the overall emotional level of the team and just kind of a recharge that we really needed after spring split. So yeah, he's fit in really well. Our scrims have been great, and we're really excited to see him in this first game.
We're excited to see him play as well. Best of luck to you and your team. Back to you guys.
It's always a good thing to hear because morale is a hell of a drug, Azael, and if your team needs to come back into the game, get themselves in the right spot mentally, and you've got a guy who can bring that morale up, that's a huge thing. That's a very big bonus to have that doesn't necessarily show itself on the Rift in terms of gold or stats.
Yeah, and I think that's often one of the most powerful things about making a roster swap. Even if it is, arguably more of that side grade or something that isn't, an enormous boost as far as what you consider to be the skill of the player, this does reset the mental somewhat of the team, right? This makes you feel more optimistic after what was a pretty rough spring split.
All right, let's keep track of where everybody's at here. Both junglers are starting off on their red buffs, now moving down towards their Krug camps. Remember, Scuttle Crabs, they got a little bit scared compared to what they used to be here on Summoner's Rift. They don't show up as early as they used to, so Jungler's paths will be taking them towards those early Krugs to make sure they get that high value EXP from that camp, make it respawn sooner, continue getting that high quality farm. Lyra moving into the bottom lane here, thinking maybe there's an opportunity to make some sort of a play. No ward, no vision down from the side of Optic Gaming. no real way to start off the fight here for Clutch either, so Lyra just moves into the enemy jungle, looks to clean up his blue.
Yeah, no, I think it's a pretty nice path because he would have been there if Big were to go aggressive whatsoever, and I think that Clutch was trying to posture forward a little bit to try to bait that in. Since it doesn't happen, he's now going to be just looking simply to take this into a more vertical jungling style, and does have the potential for a 3-buff, as I don't believe he was actually spotted at all on this path, but Meteos has sniffed it out. He is over towards this blue buff, but it looks like this is something they want to try to contest. And they have spotted him on there, and Huni can roam down. He has the push from the top side.
Damonte has placed the ward over the wall. They know that the buff is being taken. Meteos now disengaging from this. Maybe even some damage there from Damonte, but Clutch Gaming aware of the fact that Meteos can just get himself over the wall with the Arctic Assault. Not too worried about that one. They'll give him some pain for his troubles. But Lyra will absorb the wave here in mid, waiting for Damonte to make his way back over. And it won't turn into too much else, but that does mean, as you said, Meteos gets 3 buff.
Yeah, he's going to get 3 buff. It did cost Damonte a little bit of farm. He dropped a couple minions of experience, dropped a couple CS, as he wasn't making that roam to defend it. But that was a risky play for Meteos to really go for, because his top lane was so pushed in. Dokla was never going to be able to actually roam to try to help in that fight. So, as soon as the Clutch solo laners actually make that move, you just have to give up the blue buff.
And that's kind of where you're at with a Poppy early on, before you get something like a Sunfire or an Iceborne that gives you that bonus wave clear. Yeah, you've got the Q, but that alone is not going to be able to answer the push coming out from that Rumble. So Huni maintaining that priority, always so very important when you have to consider where you're going to invade as a jungler. You can see Lyra just moving through his top side of the jungle now, but Meteos has once again found his way into Clutch Gaming territory. He'll steal away some Raptors this time.
Yeah, and this is really nice, just being able to take away any camps that you certainly can. Meteos, you get leashed there, but
okay, a little unlucky.
I mean, you don't really want to fully commit to a fight, when these solo laners are so strong right now in the early game from Clutch, but anything you can kind of take away is going to feel really, really good, and Meteos is going to be happy to just try to farm his way to 6 and, for the most part, avoid conflict. You want to be there in case of counter ganks, but you don't necessarily want to be the one initiating a lot of these plays, because if Lee Sin were to show up, it would likely go very bad.
Right, you consider where these guys are going to be in 20 minutes. If you're a 0-0-0 Sejuani at 25, you feel way better than you would if you were a Lee Sin, right? You're going to have that late game scaling. You're going to have that team and that meatball power, as Dokla wishes he was a little bit meatier here, having to endure all that damage from Huni and the Flamethrower. As you already mentioned, Huni very familiar with Rumble as a champion. The man knows his way around this one.
Yeah, he really is, and this is kind of that tougher matchup, honestly. You lock in the Poppy thinking perhaps Jace is going to be going top, but he does end up having to fight it out against Huni on this Rumble, and Rumble is going to have lane priority for quite a long time here. Certainly does give Rumble a fairly free lane, gives you that lane pressure. He should even be able to hold on to his teleport here and just walk back to lane. That's going to mean he's going to be post 6, and that can allow them to go for something like a dragon with that TP advantage.
You can see Huni going for the Sorcerer's Shoes, fully completed first purchase. Gonna be going for that magic penetration that you often see Rumbles get plenty of very early. It means that when he does find a way to TP into the fight, he does massive damage to every squishy target on the enemy team. Now, since Dokla already has a null magic mantle, it won't be particularly effective in the laning matchup. But again, that's not really the point here. If he can get a TP into a Drake fight, into some mid-game skirmish with 3 or 4 people, that's going to be a big difference maker. But so far, still no first blood on the table. 0-0, 6 minutes in. Optic up about 500 gold or so, thanks to the farm advantages, mostly that you're seeing there in the mid lane. Crown building that up on the Twisted Fate. Bottom side, you can see Cody off to a bit of a lead on the Jace there over the opposing Xayah, but nobody's running away with their lane just yet.
Yeah, certainly nothing too crazy happening just yet. And, a lot of these picks, I think, in some of these lanes that are getting advantages and disadvantages are more for things that they're going to do outside of the lane. When I think about the Nautilus, it's less for that lane pick. And when you're playing into the Braum, it's going to be very hard to actually aggressively engage forward. You're likely going to be punished very, very heavily if you do go forward for that type of a trade. But what it does give you is consistent engage coming in that mid game.
Big trying to engage here on the bottom side to Cody's son. Twisted Fate making his way into the fight. There's your stun, your gold card. Flash out from Vulcan. Ignite is ticking away.
Here goes Meteos.
From behind. Remember, there is no ulti, but it is not required. Cody's son is going down. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a double kill for Optic Game.
Yeah, the cleaning crew comes in, and now Huni arrives.
Huni shows up. He drops the red carpet. He's going to be inviting everybody down as Optic loses 2. It's a double kill over to Huni. He will lose his life for it, but they respond now as Clutch Gaming brings down their mid laner. Damonte is looking to land himself some shock and awe as Arrow gets himself dunked. Crown's in some trouble. Wham! Bam! There you go. That is Lyra getting number 4 for the side of CG.
Yeah, Lyra playing that so well, just waiting out that gold card. Once it expires, he goes in with the E-Flash, guaranteeing the slow, and this is an explosive fight. They go for the engage because TF is moving down, because they have that support coming in. And there it is, TF ultimate straight in, gold card ignite goes down. Meteos already wrapping in behind this team, has the flash, Q flash, nails both of those clutch members and is able to clean this up. And then as Huni comes in, it is the 4v2, so they decide to go for this play, but the equalizer under the turret. Huni getting so much damage out onto Meteos and Big, roasting them up. And it does allow Lyra, with Conqueror fully stacked, to try to extend this play. And you can see Crown holding onto that yellow card for quite a long time. That stun card was available. And Lyra is staying out of range until it expires, then Ward Hop. E-Flash gets a slow on both. Damonte comes in, and they clean up the kills.
This is exactly why I mentioned those Sorcerer shoes for Huni. Yeah, the Poppy, she's going to be immune to it. Who cares? Those are his butt-kicking shoes, and he kicked some butt in the bottom lane as soon as he made that teleport happen. Clutch Gaming, currently with a lead. Seeing if maybe they can find even more here, trying to make a move on to Dokla. Good time in there coming out from Lyra, making sure he's able to follow his opponent past the blast cone. Equalizer comes down underneath the turret. Huni says, we're not stopping, man. Dokla says, yes, you are. And Clutch Gaming has to get out of town.
Yeah, a nice sidestep there from Dokla, preventing any potential continuation on that dive, and he's regened up a lot of health. Optic as well, gonna just take this opportunity to grab themselves a dragon at the same time, and Dokla wants more!
Lyra sticking around a little bit too long here, being rather greedy. Will not be completely punished for it, only taking most of the way towards dead, but you gotta be sweating a bit after that.
Yeah, that was actually really close. The smite for the heal, and Dokla was about 2 seconds off having his ultimate back. That would have been a kill, and that's one of those ones that can be pretty embarrassing to give up a silly death like that.
Also worth pointing out, if you look at Lyra's itemization, he did go for the power clear Lee Sin strategy straight into the Tiamat. Did not bother getting the advanced jungle item to enchant the smite, not going for the immediate warrior that you often see on the Lee Sins. Wants to be able to farm up against an opponent like this Sejuani that will be outscaling it.
Yeah, and look at this rush on Merctrez as well, right? So in early tier 2 boots, he has that Tiamat. This is a nod to how much CC there is over on the Optic squad.
Yes.
Nautilus, TF, Sejuani alone is very rough with that, but then you add in Desire Root, you add in the stun as well on the wall from Poppy, so Merctrez are extremely important in this game, and it's the same reason you see Damonte taking Cleanse here on the J, so this is a lot of power clearing and also going to kind of enable Lyra to move around the map more quickly and have a little bit more playmaking as he won't be so locked down by all this CC.
And once again, you saw Clutch stepping up a little bit there, just tempting Optic. Hey, do you want to engage on us? Look, the Nautilus hook would be so easy. Lyra just beyond the shadows there, but the bait will not be taken. Optic recognized they wanted to get their support back to base, given the opportunity to shop up here a little bit.
Yeah, and it's just so tough because even if it's a 2v2, you know, if Nautilus goes in and Braum steps up, then you proc the concussive blows on the Nautilus. He has no way to get back out of that, so it does become a very dangerous engage. I think the only time you're really going to see Big going in is if they're at a massive advantage or if their jungler or mid laner is coming down. So, you know, it's kind of hard to pull off those baits when you have the stronger 2v2 since there's not really any reason for you to be looking for them.
Lyra now looking for the Rift Herald, seeing if maybe they can grab themselves a free objective as Damonte walking around in the river. Big walking up to face check this one. Twisted Fate ultimate, gonna find out exactly where Clutch Gaming is hiding. Lyra getting himself away now as Crown goes for the teleport in here to the top side. Huni gonna be the target here to start things off. Dokla trying to provide some follow-up damage, but the rest of Clutch Gaming has arrived. Damonte jumping in, able to find some damage. Now it's gonna be a lot of CC brought down onto the Clutch Gaming lineup. Vulcan's on the front line, but a nice shock blast gonna find its way onto multiple members of Optic. Lyra goes into the back line, gonna be killed instantly as Meteos barely walks himself away, but Optic has low health, low mana. They're about to lose their Nautilus. A nice Spider-Man hook gets him away, but Crown is going to be tied up by the chains of corruption into the concussive blows. One more shot will do it to it, and Cody Sun finds his first kill of the game.
Yeah, Cody Sun quicker on the roam there. The bot laner arriving means Clutch is going to take over that fight. And they only end up losing Lyra, I do believe. They can pressure this top lane turret pretty effectively. Likely going to get themselves a turret plate or two up on the top side and open up themselves a lead. So if this is one more time, the pro view, point of view here for Crown on this play, looking with that TF ultimate for this play up onto Huni, and you can see them communicating with the pings here. Remember, this is a multi-language team, so sometimes that will be the best form of communication. And that equalizer, while it didn't look very effective in the initial play, you can see how it did it effectively buy some time. Crown having to kind of back out, move around, and as they know the rest of the team is arriving, it was a full-on retreat here for Optic, and Crown kind of getting caught out, hanging around a little bit too long here, perhaps losing track of the fact that Cody-san was about to arrive means he gives up his life as well.
The situation looked good. He only had a couple of opponents with 200 HP left. No one was going to walk close to a Twisted Fate like that, but Cody is the thing that tips the scales in the favor of Clutch Gaming. They're now 5-4, up about 300 gold, but you couldn't ask for a much closer game here at 13 minutes.
No, I mean, it's very, very close, back and forth, and it is worth checking in on Crown's build. This is the more kind of standard old school style build. This is more of the engage heavy TF. There are kind of multiple schools of thought on how to play TF. People generally either rush heavily for Ludens, for the heavy CDR, go Lucidity, try to make plays non-stop around the map. And then there is the more defensive Roa Zonia's build, which is going to allow you to make those initiations more aggressively. But you will, exactly, you're right into the middle of the team, you're tankier, but you don't have the ability to go for those ultimates nearly as often because you're not building up a lot of early CDR. You know, at this point, there's 0 in his build, so he's just going to have the 10% really from his runes and perhaps another 10% from those masteries.
Well, the scrap in the river the last time we saw these teams colliding meant that nobody was able to take Shelly. So since Rift Herald is still on the table and turret plates are falling in 2, 1, they are out of there. That means that there will not be any bonus Shelly gold for those this time around. So no opportunity to eke out a bit more of a lead through that, but the Rift Herald still available for another 5.5 minutes or so. Optic thinking about maybe making a play if somebody from Clutch Gaming steps up a little bit too far here in mid lane, but no opportunity. But the Drake is live.
Yeah, and it seems like Optic is happy to say, okay, if you want to go for Rift, we're just going to trade for another Dragon here. You know, Shelly is only the opportunity to get turret damage. It's not really anything guaranteed, and those early Dragons are very powerful now.
But the problem is, you are taking a mid-game fight in a corridor against a Rumble. Now they're going to be initiating here onto Huni, looking to find the damage. Big into the zone. He's keeping himself alive there with the stopwatch. He's blown up. Anyway, Clutch Gaming, they will lose the Drake, but they find the enemy support. And now the question I pose, Azael, is what else can they get?
And I think they should be able to pressure this turret very heavily. Arrow getting chunked there by DeMonte, and you can see they're trying to work down on it, but don't want to give up what is still the first turret available of the game here. And Optic, you know, their team fights are going to be so much down to how effective is Arrow being. He's such an enormous amount of their damage, really the only consistent DPS that is in this lineup. And now Crown back, he's looking.
Oh, Crown with a nice ulti into the flash there for the stun to make sure they grab the kill onto the enemy support. So when we look at this situation as a whole, it was a 1-for-1 on supports plus a Drake over to Optic, who now have momentum in their favor to push out the mid lane and look to Rift Herald.
Yep, they're going to push out the mid lane. You can see those pings coming on over to that Herald. And perhaps a bit of an overstay there from Clutch. They had not been able to reset, and as Optic were able to kind of get back in preparation for that fight, they get a kill. They will likely get the Rift Herald here. Looks like DeMonte's heading back to base, so I don't think we're going to see Clutch trying to contest for this whatsoever.
Rift Herald taking plenty of damage there. Clutch Gaming nowhere to be found. And the side of Optic will secure themselves yet another objective. Still just ever so slightly behind in terms of gold, but especially now that you've got Shelly in the back pocket, it could be very easy to take down a turret. Clutch Gaming is seeing that and saying, all right, if we want to have a chance at first turret, it's probably going to be right here, right now. Shove this up. They will not keep themselves there too much longer, though. Don't want to risk the overcommit into a flank, so they'll back off.
Yeah, Crown up to the top side, pushing that out, so that is going to demand some attention. The other thing you always have to remember is, you know, traditionally, Jace loves playing so heavily in these side lanes, but when you are playing Cleanse Jace, not TP, it is much harder to really stick around in those side lanes. So this is a fully valid build coming out from DeMonte. This is much more about poking your opponents out and then looking for an engage and kind of starting a fight with either a Lee Sin kick or, you know, a Varus ultimate or something along those lines. But this is likely not a game that is going to be won purely through side laning with this Jace.
And it makes it feel a little bit better when you look at the Poppy inventory and see only MR items. Up against a Sunfire Iceborne Poppy, Lethality Jace feels awful. You're a ranged minion to that Poppy, you can't do anything. But considering she's only got the hoodie, she's only got the shoes, it's not too bad.
you can still do plenty of damage. Ghost Blade plus Dust Blade means anybody without some armor in their inventory, like Arrow, is going to take so much damage from the poke that comes out from Demonic.
Yeah, and it looks like Meteos may be building towards a Warmogs, which is potentially kind of an answer to that poke. Because once you have the Warmogs, you just park yourself in front of the carries and you absorb every Shock Blast and you just continuously heal that back up. It becomes very difficult to kind of have that poke win condition. And it looks like Optic for now are just going to elect to trade towers. You can see Crown and Meteos are both up on the top side of the map.
But here's the important thing. It's still first turret bonus over to Clutch despite the Rift Herald on the side of Optic. Yeah, 1 for 1, but that edges out to your opponent yet again.
Yeah, it definitely does. I was a little bit surprised, honestly, that Meteos didn't just drop the Rift Herald and try to race that, see if they could have actually potentially gotten that first turret down quicker. But, the first turret bonus isn't that massive anymore. It's much more in the turret plates, so maybe wanting to save it for a potential full turret that they feel they might be able to get here later on.
Still 2 minutes left for Meteos to decide when he wants to drop the Rift Herald. Remember, if you don't end up finding a good opportunity somewhere in there, you have to make one of those XD Rift Heralds that you just sort of throw it out onto the Rift and be like, well, I hope you do something. Probably not, but Clutch Gaming will do a good job holding onto this mid lane tier 1 for now. Not even much damage put onto it yet. Still about 80% HP as Cody Sun will continue building up these items. Has the Blade of the Ruined King, working towards that next item. Now you can see the pickaxe in inventory. As Dopa continues the split push here on the bottom side. Neither team really looking to set anything up just yet. Both content to keep farming it out.
Yeah, both teams, willing to play this very, very passively. And certainly, Cody Sun, this is the kind of game that he used to have a lot of success in with 100 Thieves. And yes, this is not the same members all surrounding him, but we'll see if they can replicate some of that success because they had been very successful in playing out these slow, methodical games and getting to that team fight stage where he could really take over, where they can protect him and enable him in these fights. But likewise for Optic, a lot of the team fighting really is going to be down to Arrow. How well can he perform? Because yes, there is some initial burst coming out of this triple tank lineup, and even the TF, yes, can have some of that upfront damage, but it is not the consistent DPS that you need to really punch through a lot of these targets. So much of that is going to be on Arrow.
And talking about punching through targets, I like the itemization that we're seeing from both Funi and Cody Sun. Yes, it's not particularly special. You do see the Andrews and Blade of the Ruined King on these champions first very frequently, but making sure that these are the champions you have so these items are optimal is great against 3 big meatballs that are mostly building health. That will do a ton in these team fights to make sure those Rumble ultis and those Varus auto attacks are really hitting them hard.
Yeah, exactly. There's only the Tabby's armor so far on video, so that's going to be really powerful. And this is that Rift Herald that you're talking about where you're like, oh, well, I guess it's going to expire. All right, let's put it down.
Dot your I's and X your D's. That's the kind of Shelly that's not going to get you a lot of plays. Optic, unfortunately, don't make a whole lot happen out of that one. But the next Drake will be the Infernal. It is live, and Clutch Gaming has a level 2 Rumble ulti.
I honestly prefer, when it's down to that sort of situation. Oh, is there going to get engaged on?
They prefer to go in here onto Meteos. He's going to go into the stasis, keeping himself alive. One more hit from the concussive blows would have managed to lock him down. Dopa now going to be in some trouble. Stunned up, lockdown himself. Flash out from the Optic frontliners both. And with that front line hobbling away just barely, and a Shock Blast taking Arrow down to 25%. That's Infernal Drake over to Clutch.
Yeah, that is a very easy Infernal for Clutch. And what I would have liked to see Optic do is simply drop the Rift Herald top lane as the Dragon is going to be coming up, and then you can walk down there and you posture 5v5 around that Dragon, and then your opponents are either left with the option of having that Rift Herald get guaranteed damage or answering it and giving up potential Infernal Dragon. And when you drop it in the mid lane, it's so easy to answer that and then still be around, for any potential Dragon fight. So, Optic not really getting anything from it. They're still pretty much dead even in the gold, but an Infernal post 20 minutes is very valuable.
And I feel like this is sort of the same thing that you were describing before we got into the game. Optic needing to communicate these things better. Hey guys, what's the plan? Where does everyone need to be? What should we be playing for at the next point? To make sure you do get something out of it and don't have that dead drop on the Rift Herald. But unfortunately, there's no way for Optic to rewind time. That is how things have played out. The Rift Herald is down, not on the table any longer. You've still got yourself, as you said, in a very good spot. Gold is dead even. It's still 2 Drakes to 1. I'm really looking at this for who's going to jump into the driver's seat. We got two guys right now. There's a steering wheel right in front of them. They're both fighting for the opportunity to just sit shotgun. I want to see someone take control.
And I mean, Optic do have more of an ability to force those fights, right? You have so many forms of engage, from the TF to a Nautilus ultimate, from a Sejuani ultimate. There's a lot of ways for them to start off these fights, and it is a much easier to execute team fight. That being said, if Clutch can really either A, take out Arrow immediately at the start of the fight, or B, zone him out with things like the Equalizer, then it can start to be the situation where your tanks don't have enough damage and just get burned down in these kind of scrappy, skirmishy fights. So Optic needs to look for a hard engage where their AD carry is free fire.
And Optic, although you have your AD carry on a champion with a built-in escape mechanism with the Xayah ultimate, there's no QSS, there's no Guardian Angel, there's no stopwatch. These defensive tools that can manage to get him out of those sticky situations are not available, which means this is your chance, if you're Clutch Gaming, to pull that trigger.
And we've seen how Clutch has a lot of backline access with their damage, right? You know, one shock blast hits him, an Equalizer gets dropped on your head, and all of a sudden you have to back off and...
Whoop. All right, little bit jumpy there on trying to make the plays happen. Optic sees a chance and wants to go for it, but unfortunately the CC will not connect there from the Sejuani ulti, so Clutch get themselves away, and now they don't have to worry about that for the next 2 minutes or so.
Yeah, and that was actually the TF ultimate as well. You know, I would like to see them started off with the Nautilus. If you drop that Nautilus ultimate, that is a guaranteed point and click. Yep. Once that hits, you can then easily hit the Sejuani ultimate, easily follow up with the gold card, and that is the sort of CC layering that you want to go for, but I guess they just didn't feel that Big was going to be able to get in range, or that it would have come out too slowly, so they did take a shot, and to be fair, they're not going to be punished for it, very likely. You can already see half the cooldown is off that Sejuani ultimate, and that'll be back up pretty soon, but Lyra is lying in wait.
The ward dropped in the pixel brush means he doesn't get the opportunity to jump out there and make some sort of a fancy flash kick engage. They also had Demonte still up there in the top side. Remember, this Jace is running a cleanse because of the CC heavy enemy composition. No way to teleport into a fight if he's not already there. Didn't figure it was worth the risk. They'll back themselves away. You can also see the inventory of Demonte. Phage now next to the 2 lethality items means he's working towards that Black Cleaver, so he will be effective. If he has to shoot at this front line that is going to be tankier, he's not going to be completely up the creek.
Yeah, and he's going to be on full CDR with that build. Just from items, he will be sitting on 40%, which is going to mean those shock blasts are coming out constantly, so you know, certainly has the ability to really change a fight with just one shock blast, kind of snaking through to that backline, catching Arrow or Crown. But Optic, you know, playing well around Vision, they're grouping up with their front line, and that is one of the kind of big advantages with playing with all these tanks, is you can walk in Meteos and Big, and these are not guys who can just get one shot if there is Lee Sin sitting in that brush, so they continually are moving forward, trying to fight for Vision around this Baron, and at least keep some semblance of control in that area so that Clutch cannot sneak down that Baron.
Cody Sun on to the completed Rage Blade now. 2 crit items also on Arrow. And this is going to be one of those games, Azale. I feel like we're sitting here, we're watching everything, 25 minutes in, it's real close, there's only been a couple big fights. Once somebody makes a call, whether it goes good or bad, it's going to determine pretty much the end of the game. We were having a conversation before this game started about how game times just don't really go past 35 minutes anymore for the most part. So even though we're only 10 minutes away from that point, I still think it's highly likely that we see one big explosive moment into a victory march.
Yeah, I mean, Baron is so incredibly powerful these days, and, you know, as you get further and further into the game, those res timers get longer, you're able to get much bigger rewards for a team fight win than you are in the early stages of the game, so it does become so important to execute perfectly in these late game team fights, and both teams have kind of opted into this passive game state, this very kind of methodical playstyle where they are building up their items, they're building up for this kind of one-punch fight, and then you have to be able to make sure you hit that punch.
Your one punch better strike true, as the next Drake is a Cloud, now spawned live here on the Rift. You can see Clutch Gaming making sure they've got control over this bottom half of the river. They'll be the first ones onto it. Kings coming out from Optic onto the top lane tier 2. Crown is split pushing. Twisted Fate does have an easy out as long as you're not able to instantly interrupt him during the channel of the ultimate if he gets caught. But Optic won't do anything else, and that's free Drake for Clutch.
Yeah, and they have double TP as well, right? So you have that TP advantage. Yes, Cody Sun has TP, but he does not want to be answering one of those stole laners in a side lane, very likely. So, you know, they are going to have the additional globals and the ability to try to push out side lanes, then group up and look for that hard engage. And the items really are starting to come in pretty quickly here for Optic. You can see Crown now on 3 items. He does have the Lich Bane completed. So his turret damage and his kind of one hit on that W are going to be very, very high. And they are lying in wait. If Clutch check into this, they could get engaged on.
But Optic backed away. They didn't want to completely try to set the trap there. Clutch Gaming do roll in full force to clear out some of that vision. There is one still there around the Scuttle Crab marker in the river. But Optic just seems so hesitant to want to make any sort of a fight happen after that last attempt got botched. Big on the front line, looking for an opportunity to maybe drop an ult. Meteos making sure no one is going to see him there in that brush. Demonte and Lyra moving into skill. Red buff, but now we're starting it off. Meteos is able to find himself an ultimate onto Vulcan. Clutch Gaming now coming in full force as 5. Equalizer dropped down. Half the HP gone from both Big and Arrow. Lyra coming in, looking to find the kick onto someone of value. Dokla now going to be frontlining, taken very low very quickly. Clutch Gaming will be disengaged on. Optic get themselves out. And this is the issue with these teams waiting so long between each and every fight. Summoner spells are always available. Disengages are likely to happen.
Yeah, but look at Huni and Lyra here threatening a flank. They're trying to wrap around and pressure Optic off this, but they're going to keep it back in. They're looking for it.
Here comes Optic with their own kind of a flank. It's going to be Lyra in some trouble. There comes the ulti. Arrow's able to grab himself 1 kill, and it looks like he's going to make it even more. Vulcan's going to be dropping down quickly, and Meteos picks that one up. It's 2-0 Optic.
Yeah, and that time Optic come out way on top as Clutch was without a lot of their most important cooldowns. They didn't have the Verisol, the Braum ult, they're missing the Rumble ultimate, so all of these critical abilities were down. So Optic look for the engage, they force it. And with Lyra off the table, I really think they should be starting up this Baron, and they will now start that up. Crown is lying in wait on the side here. He does have the ability to kind of go in and flank anyone who tries to challenge this, and they have spotted Huni, so they could look for it if he tries to commit to it.
I'm glad Optic is going for this. You have to be able to translate those sorts of wins into something bigger. Demonte, Huni, Cody Sun, all waiting for their opportunity to maybe make this stop. Equalizer still has a critical few seconds left before it is available to fire. Cody Sun is caught. Cody Sun is going to go down. It's Dokla picking up the kill as Huni's able to find some in return. Crowd's grabbing the shutdown on that, but 2 are dead on the side of Optic, and one of those critically is Arrow. The Baron is thwarted.
Yeah, they stopped that Baron. They're just going to start it up themselves now because the respawns have come through. And that is not a very strong 3-man squad here that is left up for Optic. Dokla is going to have to go back to base, so is Crown. Crown does have his TP, and Meteos is in the area, so Clutch will back off, and it just ends up being the trade of kills. Once again, neither team able to get a really strong foothold in this game.
Crown with the TP and the ultimate available in case something got sketchy real quick. But yeah, it seems like every time somebody gets something, the other team takes it right back. Here's a pro view replay from Dokla's POV.
Yeah, Dokla coming in, looking for that TP flank. Really nice coordination, actually. You can see Crown drop the ping forward for him to come in. He gets the wallbang onto Cody Sun there, forcing out the QSS. That gets them the initial 2 kills. And then they were able to force over by the Baron, but their turn was not the best. They did land, flash stun on a Cody Sun, but Big unable to connect with his hook. They weren't able to find that really clean engage, and that meant that the soul laners, the DPS from Clutch, were able to turn things around.
We're 30 minutes into this game now, and it's still only 1,000 gold separating the 2 teams. Really showcases exactly this situation of everyone feeling like they're just stuck, waiting for the opportunity to make something happen. Clutch Gaming now moving up, trying to clear away some of the vision from the jungle of Optic, but will not succeed in doing so just yet. Huni walks forward to make sure they grab that last one. Rumble level 16 now, so that means you have the biggest equalizer possible with Zhonya's, with Void Staff, with Leandri's. That's what Clutch need. A big fight with a big Rumble.
Yeah, certainly the case, and it does feel like now for Optic, what they're going to try to do is get a fight that is not fully committed, back off with their double Warmogs. Frontliners regen, then look to re-engage. If you can get that equalizer out, back off, heal it up, look to fight again, your kind of next fight is going to be much more powerful than that of Clutch, who I think are more reliant on those things like the equalizer to really have an effective fight. And Arrow now is on his 3rd item. He has the IE. Meteos flanking from the side here, has ult.
Meteos shows up. He's able to find the ulti onto Vulcan. Crown now backing away with the rest of Optic. Equalizer into the back line. Arrow going to be taken very low. Can't make his way any further forward. Meteo's going to be burning down rather rapidly. Huni now stunned up here onto the front line. Lots of CC coming out from Optic on return to Clutch Gaming. Already going to be losing their jungler. Big drops low, but Huni drops dead. And that's 2-0 Optic.
Yeah, and look at Meteos. Meteos was down to 5% health, but he got out, and now they're going for Demonte.
Oh, Demonte with a nice stopwatch, keeping himself away from the gold card. But Optic still win the fight here yet again. Crown's going to stick around around in the mid lane, buy some time, put some damage into the turret, not quite able to take that one down, but that's not what matters, Azael. Baron is again the call.
Yep, the double frontliners healing right back to full after that fight with the Warmogs. Meteos was down to 5% health or so. Now back to full, and all that Clutch can do here is trade the Infernal. It will be Baron going the way of Optic and getting the first major lead of this game.
All right, this is what we've been waiting for. The part of the game where one team finally takes a noticeable control of the game. Let's take another look at how they did it.
Yeah, here this is one more time. Meteos does find the engage. It's not onto the best target, though, with that Braum, but then kiting backwards. The equalizer is dropped, and look how quickly Arrow gets very, very low, just from a tick or two of that. But Meteos, Stoneblade active, has tanked so much damage. Then as they commit forward, trying to get that kill onto Meteos, look on the right side of your screen, he's barely surviving. Arrow is free-firing. You cannot afford to commit all those cooldowns and all of that energy forward onto one of the frontliners. It allowed Arrow that free time he needed to shoot out and take down Huni as well as Lyra. And this was honestly just a great stopwatch from Demonte, immuning that gold card, waiting till it was out in the air and then hitting it so that the gold card fizzles instead of it still being ready for when that stopwatch ended.
Yeah, that was a very impressive response there from Demonte. Couldn't have done that much better. Even got the shock blast out before he went into the stasis, but unfortunately for Clutch, it's not enough to prevent their opponents from being able to get the Baron. They're now in a spot where Optic has 2.5 minutes to take control of this game in a super convincing way. You've still got 3 turrets standing outside the enemy base. That's a lot of standing gold, plenty of opportunity to build a lead. Equalizer dropped down. Arrow forced into the ulti there. Nice cue from Lyra to make sure of that one. While bottom side, Crowd keeps split pushing.
Exactly. All they had to do was back off, buy time, but you can see how powerful that Rumble is. Really, it's a tick or two of Equalizer, and Arrow's almost dead. He basically has to back off. Yeah, that was his Hex Drinker proc, so pretty insane the amount of damage put out there, but without that Equalizer, Huni is certainly much less threatening, and the ability to play the map with this Baron buff is so powerful.
Uh-oh, they got some trouble on the front line now as Meteo's going to be taken down to 5% here yet again. Throws out the ult defensively. Cody Sun going to be forced to pop the QSS there to continue the chase.
Warmogs.
Lyra's thinking about it, but yeah, Meteos will quickly be healing up. Look at that. The Piggy is back in business as Meteos is once more ready to frontline here for his team. The power of Warmogs against a team that wants to go all in on you like that. Arrow's down to half HP. Lyra's still looking for an opportunity to maybe grab a kick, but there's only so many good targets, and by that I mean 2. Crown and Arrow, the only guys you really want to go in on here. Shock Blast finds its way onto Arrow, but the Equalizer angle is ever so slightly off. Arrow does a good job running diagonal to what he thought it would be and gets out alive.
And that was a blind Equalizer. Huni was fishing for that. They knew the Shock Blast landed, so he decides to go for it. I mean, if you hit, probably 1 tick kills Arrow there.
Yeah, for sure.
So he would just go down. So I do think it's worth taking that shot, and honestly, Clutch, this double Infernal feels like it's really kind of keeping them in this game. You have 4 people stacking AD and AP with this Lee Sin, as well as both double damage soul laners, so they really do put out a ton of damage. And here, this is one more time. Shock Blast tags. They don't know exactly where he is, so it is a blind Equalizer. He drops it, and that was inches away.
Yeah, if it was aimed more horizontally, it would have hit him. And because the Rumble Equalizer does more damage on the first tick as the rockets fall, I'm almost certain that would have been a kill.
Yeah, and I mean, it guarantees the Comet hit because of that initial slow as well, so it certainly can be, very powerful. But Optic, not able to break the base with this Baron buff. That's going to expire.
Yeah.
They took some outer towers, but that's really it. This was not lethal damage whatsoever. And yes, they have a 5,000 gold lead, but at this point in the game, double Infernal with 4 main damage dealers, the gold lead is basically nothing. That is worth a tremendous amount of stats.
I blame myself, Azael, for saying this game would be over by 35 minutes. I set it up. I messed it up. I cast or cursed it.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's my bad. We all have those flubs sometime, but now it's up to Optic again. 5,000 gold ahead. You've still got yourselves a nice lead. You've still got a very difficult to kill front line. But the name of the game, as you've said so many times, is Arrow, Arrow, Arrow. If he can free fire, they can win a team fight. If he's zoned out because he's at 2% HP from a single Equalizer, things are rough.
Yeah, and he does have a full Maw completed now. I would like to see him just go into some lifesteal, honestly.
Yeah.
Yes, you cannot build the Warmogs, but you can build a Bloodthirster. You can build some lifesteal, bro, and heal back up. when you do get poked down, go over to a jungle camp, and he may just be relying on things like Legend Bloodline more heavily to try to, kind of compensate for that lack of lifesteal in the build. And this certainly is a higher DPS build. But it is tough when there's so much poke on the other squad. If you are not blocking perfectly, you're in trouble. And now the TP is coming in. They're looking for the engage. Hooney's going to be behind him.
Clutch Gaming has started things off, but Hooney is alone. A nice ulti coming out there from Crown to spot them out and see exactly what they're doing. They recognized it looked funny, and they knew exactly what was going down. As now Hooney will be locked down, but returns plenty of damage with the Flame Spitter. Big's in some trouble, having to get himself away. And Optic's plan goes south. They will lose their support, but in the base, it's Crown. Top side, he's taken down the inhibitor, and the rest of Optic will now try to stop the ports. If Demonte can get himself back, he'll at least be there in time. He will make it back to the base, but Optic has won the fight.
Yeah, all they had to do was really buy time there, and they get the inhibitor tower and the inhibitor. So, while it did require Big kind of just giving his life for the cause, well worth it. And Hooney now in trouble.
Hooney's going to be taking quite a lot of damage here as Dokla's looking to knock someone away, make this fight work out. Vulcan on the front line. Media's continuing to chase. Arrow huge damage here, but now Optic's in some trouble over the wall. They go there looking to find even more damage. Lyra's going to be blown up in retaliation. Dokla tries to get himself out. Arrow takes down Lyra.
Yeah,
but that's the only casualty.
Lyra, though, that was a beautiful kick, helping to turn that around. That could have been devastating for them. But he gets a three-man kick, and now he's gone.
Stop Cazale! Medios now able to take down Hooney. Vulcan barely getting himself out. Hooney continuing after him there with the flail. Manages to stun him up with the blast shot, gets him away. Here comes Crown. Here comes a redemption. That's not going to do anything because he got away with the teleport anyway. Medios comes in with the whip saying, get back over here. There's Big. He's got another one. They finally got enough to bring him down. Good Lord, man. How long is this fight going on?
They're coming out of the woodwork left and right. They're behind you. They're above you. Optic is everywhere. They're closing out this game. Hooney, 25 seconds on his res timer, over 30 seconds on Vulcan. Second inhibitor will fall. And Optic, only one Nexus turret up. They're going for the end.
Optic properly communicating to have Crown go and take that top inhibitor was what really made this all possible. They're on to the Nexus now. Clutch will not be able to hold them off. And Optic starts summer off with a win.
And what a crazy finish that was. Optic just splitting Clutch apart.
I was waiting for the chance for there to not be action so we could talk about the action, but then they just kept doing it more and more and more.
Yeah, that was honestly an insane finish. The TF coming up so big, and Crown really having a hell of a performance here in the first game of this summer split. He was so big on this TF in knocking down that initial inhibitor, but also in being able to answer so many of these cross-map plays. Clutch was kind of sent scurrying in all directions. It felt like trying to get back to the base, and people are TPing in left and right. People are coming back and respawning and finding these picks, and the fight never stopped.
And I want to give credit to Medios as well. Only one death on the Sejuani this whole game while he was the frontliner. His engages for Optic were the ones that were able to start off the fights where they got those kills, and he did a good job at still being able to disengage and not die as the sacrificial lamb. Optic using Medios, using Crown to success, and communicating to the point where they were able to win with something like a split pushing TF. That's what we wanted to see out of this team.
Yeah, and honestly, it just felt like this fit the kind of style that you want to see. Jungle and mid is the kind of what a lot of people talk about with Optic, having worked so well in Spring Split. Now they took Dokla off of that split pusher. They put him on more of a team fighter. He performed well there. They allowed Crown and Medios, who are often working together, to be the ones more of kind of playing that side lane. And I have to say, Optic with certainly an impressive game one.
Yeah, that's how you want to start off your summer split. But for more on the win, Avli is now standing by for an interview. Take it away.
Thanks, Flowers. Medios, congratulations on the win, an impressive one at that. First thing I want to ask you about was, what was the call like to send Crown top lane while you guys were fighting?
Well, this is something that happens to us a lot in LCS games where we just decided to try to win by split pushing. So they were setting up for Dragon, and it seemed like all 5 of them were there. So Crown was just like, I'm just going to end the game top. And we were trying to cancel their recalls, but it didn't quite work the first time, but we got a lot out of it.
Now I want to know, how did you guys spend your break preparing for summer?
Well, I think everyone did something different, but mostly we just played a lot of solo queue. Just try to not get rusty, because I know some people like to see the break as like a, don't play any league at all, but I think it's kind of a trap, and it's good to just spam a lot of games. So I know that's what I was doing. I was trying to stream a bit. And yeah, it wasn't as long of a break as after summer. So I think we were all just trying to like stay practiced and not get too rusty before summer.
So a lot of other teams went to Korea to try to boot camp. Was that ever a option or an idea for Optic?
I don't know if we ever talked about doing it as a full team. I know Crown and Arrow went back to Korea, mostly because they live there. But maybe after this split.
Now, we also noticed that there were no roster changes made to Optic. We had a couple across the rest of the split. Were there any internal changes to maybe the way you operate or communicate?
Well, I think that we're definitely a lot more comfortable with each other now. Like, we're more familiar, so we kind of understand how everyone operates and, try to not trigger each other during games and review. So I think we didn't do any like super drastic changes. We've always done some like switching out in scrims with different like players from the academy just to, either see if a certain setup works better or maybe just get a different perspective. So we continue doing that in the off season, but I think that mostly we've just built on what we did in spring.
And for the last 2 splits, Optic has narrowly missed playoffs. So what do you think is going to make summer the split that it happens?
Just a lot of hard work, I guess. I think we all really want it. So yeah, I think we're just gonna, do our best.
Well, best of luck to you and the team. Thank you again. And for more on the game, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avli. Optic picks up a win in a very scrappy game here against Clutch Gaming to kick off their summer split. And while I call it a scrappy game, I recognize that a lot of times in games like this, it can be tough to glean a ton, right? Just by virtue of the way the game's playing out. But I do want to dive into what, if anything, we've learned about both of these squads based on this game.
So I like that Optic's comp here is so easy to execute. It might not be the flashiest, it might not be the best, but you know exactly what you need to do. Nautilus presses a button, TF presses wildcard,